Hello, welcome back to Wispcast. This is sort of a
Wispcast time.
semi relaunch of
Wispcast time.
Wispcast because we've been kind of on and off. Hopefully, this could be a more scheduled thing. But I'm Alcatabra, and here we got Multimedia Man,
What's up?
and we're gonna be talking about our favorite thing, Star Wars. So
Yeah, but specifically Disney Star Wars. 'Cause
Yeah.
if we were to talk about all Star Wars, we'd be here for a couple weeks.
pretty much,
I guess like the big question about this podcast that we're trying to ask is like, is Star Wars better off now, like 5 years later, or however many years later, than it was now that Disney owns it, right?
yeah,
Is it better off?
yeah. So
And are we better off as fans, right?
Well, yeah, that's the question because.
That is the question.
And we're going to focus mainly on the movies, maybe some other stuff if we get the time for it. But I guess a disclaimer before we start, we have to make a disclaimer. I have a philosophy, and my philosophy is it's just a movie. I got nothing against Kathleen Kennedy, Ryan Johnson, J.J. Abrams, anyone else working on these. I don't know how Multimedia Man feels about those people.
No, I don't hate anybody.
Yeah.
I think Kathleen Kennedy is doing a pretty damn good job considering she's been handed the keys to the most toxic fan base in the world.
Pretty much. But,
And rather than trying to please everyone, she's just saying, haha, you guys are nerds and I'm making bank and fuck you. Because, like, she's been, like, quite open about the fact that you cannot please everyone, especially with Star Wars. So she's just going to keep doing what she's doing and doing the best that she can. And honestly, it's like kind of inspiring.
No, pretty much. Like, so I guess we'll just get that out of the way. We don't want to offend. We're not here to target anyone who works on these movies personally. We may critique their work, but at the end of the day, we have nothing against them as people.
And we couldn't probably do better because we don't have the money or the time.
To be honest. So yeah, we'll get into that. Like, we'll
So,
probably
let's
be a little vitriolic, but again, it's all in fun and entertainment. It's just a movie. At the end of the day, people are people. Now,
Yeah, so,
let's get into shitting on this franchise.
So do we just start with Force Awakens and go from there? Because that's the first Disney.
Oh wait, we should
owned.
probably give some context on us as viewers of Star Wars first. Like, I guess us as fans and people who like movies. Like, do you want to go first?
Well, I mean, I've never been a huge Star Wars guy. Don't get me wrong, like, I love it. It's Star Wars. Like, who doesn't love Star Wars?
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I got friends who live and breathe it, and you walk into their room and you can tell, oh my God, he's a Skywalker, all right. But me, I like it, and I think it's fun. I think it's a good franchise. I think it is responsible for a lot of sci-fi stuff that we have today, and we should definitely acknowledge the cultural significance of the old movies. But I've never been, like, a diehard fan, you know. Like a friend of mine could tell you the name of the skeleton on the floor of Jabba's palace. I shit you not, he could tell you that guy's name, and I'm just like, hey, that's a cool special effect, my friend. So yeah, it was jaunted, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. As far as movies go, like, how would you say your opinions on both the original trilogy and the prequels stand, I guess?
Oh, okay. So you know what? Here's what I'm gonna. Okay, here we go. So I love the original trilogy. I own them on. I own the theatrical release versions. So I have seen the original trilogy as it was meant to be seen, without the giant CGI monsters walking in front of the camera and Han Solo's head bending and shaping its way out of the frame. So yeah, I own all those, and I love the original trilogy. I think they're all fantastic. My personal favorite is Return of the Jedi, even though I know that Empire Strikes Back is like the best Star Wars movie ever.
Yeah.
As for the prequels, I think a lot of people bend and like warp their views of how good they really are based on nostalgia and their love for the Clone Wars series. Because let me tell you what, dude, Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace are not good movies at all. Like, oh my God. Like, they've got some pretty competent actors and they've got a decent enough story, but they're just written so badly and they look so bad. And it's like watching them, it makes me laugh so much because the dialogue is so bad. And Revenge of the Sith is always, you know, it's always given a pass because it's like the one that's the most fun to watch. But even then, like, when there isn't a lightsaber fight or an action scene going on, it's not that good. And I cannot believe that somebody like looked at the script for those movies and was like, you know what, that's good. That people speak words like that. It's like you're so beautiful. That's because I'm so in love. No, it's because I'm so in love with you. And I'm like, oh my God. And people are like, oh, Hayden Christensen was so bad. I'm like, oh no, there's only so much you could do with a script like that. Jesus. Like to look at that and like turn that into a good delivery would be to be the best actor on earth, right? So I don't know. Like story wise, they're good, and I appreciate their contribution to the Star Wars lore. But I don't think they're very good movies at all.
All right. I guess for me, I'm on the same stance. Love the OT, not the prequels. Like the original trilogy, I think are definitively good movies. I hate
Sand.
I still love both A New Hope and Empire dearly. Return of the Jedi as well, obviously. For the prequels, I remember like growing up on the prequels and
oh yeah, well who didn't love them? Because your parents would try to make you watch when you were like a little kid. Your parents would try to make you watch the original trilogy. You're like, what is this? This is boring.
Yeah, I was one of
but
those
you go
kids.
Watch Revenge of the Sith. You're like, yeah, woohoo, lightsaber fight, woohoo.
Yeah, I was definitely one of those kids who's like, I just love the prequels because they have so much flashy stuff, and then you grow up and you're like, yeah, no. Like the thing is,
who wrote this?
I want to acknowledge that the prequels are very bad. Let me get that out of the way first. But
yeah, of course.
They clearly had something behind them. Like
there was a creative vision.
Yeah, there was a vision.
There was a storyboard and a timeline that they wanted to stick to, and it was like well organized.
Like the only problem was that I guess since George Lucas was pretty much at the helm of this completely, he kind of let his, I don't want to say ego, but he kind of let the power of Star Wars get to him, and he kind of just assumed he could do whatever, and he didn't really reflect on it. Like, if you look back at the old movies, the original trilogy is as good as it is because of cooperation. Like, the first Star Wars movie, do you know about how, like, A New Hope was a total mess when it was in production? And it was pretty much saved by editors.
It was a disaster.
And everything. Yeah. So what made Star Wars good was this like cooperation, and the prequels kind of lost that. And even though they had a good story behind them, really bad execution. That being said, they have done very, very, very few good things. Like they gave us, everyone loves the Clone Wars animated series.
Of course, they gave us arguably the best piece of Star Wars media,
and
which
like
is Clone Wars.
and they expanded the lore in some interesting ways. There are some things they actually they hurt. I think they hurt the original trilogy in some ways, but they also helped them in some ways. Like a lot of people will argue this. I personally think that Anakin's redemption is actually kind of helped by the prequels. Like the story itself has issues with how they build Anakin. But I think that what they do actually does kind of make his redemption work more, as you see how he got to Darth Vader. But personally I just say original trilogy is great. Prequels had good ideas, really bad execution, and now we cut to Disney. So I guess that's the context.
The first piece of Star Wars media was after they bought Star Wars for $15 billion or whatever. What was it? Force Awakens?
Yes, Force Awakens. Let's talk about The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Do you want to start?
Okay. When I saw this movie, I was like a kid again. I left that theater and I was like, damn, that was great. Like, oh my God, it felt exactly like the original trilogy. And it had so much charm to it. And like all these cool new ideas, but at the same time, a healthy blend of old ones. And I was so intrigued by the character of Ben Solo, and like, I really liked Force Awakens. And I still like it. I think it still holds up. I think that like there's some issues with the characters in it. Like Rey's not that interesting. Then again, she's not that interesting at all in any of them. But whatever. And I just like the idea of, like, Fenn is a cool character, like a rogue stormtrooper. That had never been done before. That was a really cool idea. And, I don't know. I personally, leaving the theater back then, I was like, damn, that was really good. And I would watch it again and again. And I think it still holds up. You know, I think it still might be technically, and it's not my favorite of the three, but it might be the best of the three new ones.
Yeah. Like, for me, I definitely say this is, like, the best Star Wars movie to watch casually. Like, this is the one that you can get anybody into, even if they've never seen Star Wars. Like, this is the one you can take the family to, basically.
Yeah,
And
it really does. It sets it all up for anyone who hasn't seen it before.
It's probably like the best one to rewatch and have fun with, and I'll give it credit for that. And I do enjoy it on a technical level because there's so much. You can tell there was like a lot of love into this movie.
Yeah, like returning to the roots of practical effects and not overloading everything with CGI. I appreciate that about this movie.
Yeah, like this movie looks great. This movie feels great. Great music, everything. At the root of it all, there is the story. And it's not a surprise to anyone that it's pretty much A New Hope 2.0. And on that note, I think that kind of hurts it in the long run. Like, because in the moment, when I first saw this movie, I loved it. Like, I loved it, just like you said. And I've kind of had a weird relationship with it since then. Like, the year it came out was like 2015. Well, let's say it was
2017.
2017? I thought it was The Last Jedi. This movie came out in 2015.
Wait. No, 2015. Damn, you're right.
We'll say 2016.
Oh my god, it's been so long.
Yeah, it was December 2015, so we'll say 2016. So throughout 2016, pretty much loved this movie. By 2017, I started to become critical, like, because I started to I actually went back and started watching the movies again, and then I started getting into movies in general, and I was like, I don't really like this. And then in 2018, I was like, I'm just being a poopy head. I actually think it has some quality. And like right now, it's a good movie, but at the same time, I can't get past certain like issues with the I don't want to say copy paste, but similar storyline. Like what I say is, I understand returning to the past, right? I understand like calling back to the good old days, but with that, there are certain things that are that they go a bit too far with, in my opinion.
There's a copy paste Death Star, like that.
We're gonna get to that. We are gonna get to that. But before that, like it all stems from some things like I never thought about this, but Han Solo is probably the main character for this issue with me. Like I never really thought about it in the moment because I hadn't seen Star Wars in a while, but
yeah,
Han Solo ain't acting like Han Solo should, in my opinion, because
in
this movie
doesn't.
He's right back to being the Han we met in A New Hope. Even though the whole point of the original trilogy was for him to like grow out of that, right? Like for him to learn to love other people and look out for other people. And then in this movie, he's literally just a smuggler again. And yeah, like I'll admit, it gave us a cool action scene, like the Raptor scene. I like it.
Disney's thing is that they don't understand Han Solo, but we'll get to that in two movies when we talk about. We'll get to that. So, but yeah, I remember thinking after I left the theater, I'm like, okay, so you're telling me that at the end of Return of the Jedi, he's settled down, he's got a wife, he's got a family, and then something happens over the course of 30 years that makes him go, nah, fuck that, fuck my son, I'm going to go back to being a smuggler who has nobody but this walking bear and my ship.
Yeah,
like I would have liked to see that. What happened with Han Solo that made him go, all right, peace out?
Like, I think you could actually build a unique story out of that. Because, like, think about Han Solo. He's not the type of person who really sits down for politics. Like, he likes action. Really. He likes adventure. So what you'd expect is for Han to be in Poe Dameron's place. Like, he'd be a hotshot lead-in pilot of the Resistance. Not like a completely isolated smuggler. Like, if he could be a part of the Resistance as a fighter rather than, like, a part of the Republic. That's something I would expect.
It's just like weird how he
doesn't care. Like,
yeah, and then it's weird how he's the same person in The Force Awakens that he is in A New Hope. So much so that he's like dealing with shady smugglers who he owes money, and he's just like
right back to normal. And I'm just like, what happened here? So then that obviously goes with his son Ben Solo, or Kylo Ren, and the fact that apparently Kylo Ren turned and split him and Leia apart, which you could build an interesting story out of that. The only problem is, when it comes to Han Solo's inevitable death at the end, like, he wasn't convinced that he could turn... Like, that moment didn't really resonate with me, because as we see, Han doesn't believe that there's still good in Kylo. He thinks there's too much Vader in him, while Leia thinks he's the one who can turn. So then, like, if it was reversed, like, if Han believed he could turn his son, then I would feel kind of, like, affectionate when he ended up dying. but it doesn't really resonate on that level.
Yeah, well, yep, yep.
I mean, Harrison Ford wanted out, so there's that, I
Oh,
guess.
when didn't Harrison Ford want out? Harrison Ford hates Star Wars, and he makes that known.
Other than Han Solo, for other things like that, heck, I have notes. I should be looking at my notes because I'm going to forget most of this. I guess the whole copy-paste thing goes to other things. Like, obviously, the droid has a special item that the evil Empire / First Order is trying to get. And that kind of goes with both movies. And the thing is, again, I understand wanting to follow the good old days. But there's such a thing as callbacks and such a thing as just making the same movie. Like, I guess, the best example I could think of is Blade Runner 2049. It's a sequel that comes out all these years later, wants to get you back into the Blade Runner universe, but instead of just like telling you the same story with a different set of characters, it kind of builds on the mythos. Like, it tells its own new story using the characters you know from before. And I have some issues with like how Harrison Ford's kind of just shoehorned into the movie. But regardless, it kind of builds off of its universe rather than just being like a straight reboot.
What a fantastic movie it was, too.
Yeah. And the thing is, what the problem with this setup at the end of the day is that there's no explanation for it. Like, remember, the good guys won in Return of the Jedi. Like, they blew up the second Death Star, the Empire was no more, yet we're right back to there being an evil fascistic regime with stormtroopers, and the good guys are a rebellion. Even though in the last movie they won. Like...
Yeah, no, it's... And you don't really... That was another problem I got. Looking back at all three of these is the First Order and the Resistance should be switched.
Exactly. Like,
the First Order should be like a terrorist group that strikes from the shadows and retreats because of their dwindling numbers. They should not have the resources that they have. And yeah, like you can counteract that argument by saying, oh, but Palpatine, he built the Star Destroyers and he gave them the Star...
Yeah, but that
because
was
now
like...
that Rise of Skywalker's out, you can just use Palpatine as an example because, Palpatine was behind everything. But it really would have been a lot cooler to kind of have to like sympathize with the bad guys and their lack of numbers and taking on the system.
And the thing is, like, what these movies want to do, as we'll see in later ones, is just reset the playing field. Like, this movie was just the beginning. By the end of The Last Jedi, we are fully back to Rebels versus Empire. And the thing is, that can work if you actually build up to it. Because if the First Order is introduced as small and weak, but they slowly build up to be, like, powerful and then destroy the Republic over time, and after we get to know the Republic, then that would be meaningful. But... we realize we don't actually visit the Republic planets before they're blown up in this movie. And they're just gone. Like, we do not actually see the Republic that our characters worked so hard to build after Return of the Jedi in this movie.
Yeah, and the biggest problem with these new ones is you just gotta take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, because they tell you to. It's like, hey, the New Republic is here. Just trust us. Just trust us, bro. I promise. It happened, and it happened.
Like,
it's like Luke ran away. Trust me.
And that's overall that ties.
And then we're just gonna explain it as we go along.
Yeah, pretty much. And the thing is, even with explanation, this movie, that's kind of, I guess, why so many people were hooked on this one. The mystery box element, which we'll get more into later. But overall, this movie kind of relies on its sequels to justify it. Like, you want to know why all these things fall into place? Well, we'll explain it in the next one, obviously.
Yeah.
For example, back to the Republic. Like, this really personally bothered me because if you try watching these movies in order, you go from the heroes stop the Empire and they're going to establish a Republic. We jump into the next movie. The Empire basically still exists. The Republic is destroyed before we even visit the planets, and we're just right back where we left off. Yeah. Like, remember that scene where Starkiller Base blows up the planets? The people in that scene. If you look at the people on whatever that planet was, first of all, it's the Hosnian planets. Like, the Supreme Chancellor was there. The Supreme Chancellor of the Republic. There was this little weird, like, Sasquatch-looking bearded alien thing named, like, Lawrence Villasham or something. And he's literally the Supreme Chancellor of the Galactic Republic. Basically Palpatine's job. Like, he's that guy. He's in charge of the galaxy. and we don't hear his name. And I only know this because I read it off a cereal box. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not even kidding. The same goes for like this girl, the black lady who's up front, like when the planet blows up, is named Corcella, and apparently she's like Leia's personal assistant, and she's like this headstrong war veteran character or whatever. And I only know this because I read it off of a trading card in Target.
No,
Like...
dude, like honest to God, I didn't even know some of this. So I just at this point I just thought it was like, because they've been doing this thing with these new ones, like how many celebrities can we get in Star Wars? Let's see. Let's just give them a bunch of cameos. So at this point, I thought it was just like, hey, you want a cameo? Cool. You'll be looking at the lasers as they blow you up. Like I didn't. Like you got Daniel Craig as a stormtrooper and Simon Pegg as Unkar Plutt. So I just thought that it was just like a.
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah, you didn't know that Simon Pegg was Unkar Plutt.
Oh yeah, you're right. I remember reading about that.
So yeah, no, it's just kind of. I don't know.
Like they just want cameos rather than to actually explain these characters.
Like, whatever. All in all, I think that of the three, Force Awakens is the one with the least problems.
Oh, definitely. Like this is probably the most solid movie that they have. Because again, a lot of care went into it, and this was like Star Wars was new again, so they had to work extra hard to like keep you invested. So they put everything they could into it, and I respect that.
I guess we move on now, or
move on to I have to talk about characters. I almost forgot about that.
Of course.
And also, first of all, Star Killer Base. I hate Star Killer Base.
Yeah, I think that was all pretty stupid.
Like the thing is, they could have made. I'm okay with the whole droid has to get this thing from the Empire plotline. That's fine. But when you literally just make the Death Star again, you don't explain how you made the Death Star again, and then it just blows up the Republic. Just like that. That's crossing the line.
And it's like when you find out, I didn't know this till recently. Starkiller Base was actually built. It used to be Ilum, the planet where the Jedi got their kyber crystals.
Seriously?
And they mined their according to the game Jedi Fallen Order. So I guess the reason that Starkiller Base has so much power is because its core is kyber crystal. But damn it, man, you didn't explain that in the fucking movie.
Like, wow. And, like, the thing is, it's just such an obvious plot beat because Starkiller Base is so important. It's literally a planet-sized Death Star. It's literally there. It's not only that. It's the first order base.
That's no moon.
It's their base.
That's a planet.
It's a planet.
Yeah.
It's their base. Like, this isn't like remember, the Empire was in charge, so they had different, like, facilities and stuff. So when they lost the Death Star, it was a big loss, but they could recover from it. This time, the First Order is not in charge, so I assume Starkiller Base is, like, their main base of operations. Yet, it gets... Oh, no, we're not talking about The Last Jedi yet, but obviously it gets blown up, and it has no effect on them in the next one. Like, it was literally pretty much just a plot device.
Yeah,
to, like, get rid of the Republic and give us a full final battle.
I just can't. The stupidity of these new movies gets to me sometimes.
Like, and I guess, what's the next thing I want to talk about? Oh, yeah, characters. So, like you mentioned, Finn was probably the most enticing character of this movie, being like an ex-stormtrooper. Like, that's an interesting way to go, and that had me invested. Because, like, yeah, they could build off of him somewhere.
Yeah, no, but he ends up not doing much in the end.
Honestly.
And he does a lot in Force Awakens.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do much in the Last Jedi, and I guess in Rise of Skywalker that whole part of him is just kind of left to rot.
Like and here's the thing: there's even more transfer development that they didn't really reflect on because I like Finn and I like his story, but I feel like it's almost written improperly because here's the thing: remember that scene in the beginning where that stormtrooper shot and he like rubs the blood on his mask and everything?
Yeah.
That stormtrooper who did that was apparently named FN 2003, and he was nicknamed Slip. And I read this in like the TFA novelization, but apparently Finn and Slip were like best friends back at the Stormtrooper Academy, and like he was Finn's only friend, and Poe Dameron shot him.
Okay.
Poe Dameron shot and killed Finn's best friend.
Okay.
And Finn doesn't care.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. That
could have been something. Like, I'm not saying Finn should have killed Poe for crying out loud. Like, I feel like that could have actually sparked something like, I don't know, like a rivalry. Like, maybe Finn understands that FN 2003 was a bad person, but he feels kind of upset that he was killed by Poe. So while they're not enemies, they're kind of like uneasy, and they slowly bond to be friends, like something.
Yeah, but no, when he meets Poe, he's just like, "Cool, love you."
Let's go on a rescue. Give me a nickname. Yeah, good to meet you too, Poe. Like, he just shot your best friend, but okay. But
yeah,
and other than that, there's just kind of Finn. The fact that Finn's kind of too. Did you get the impression that he was too nice, too easygoing, after being a stormtrooper for how long was he a stormtrooper? He said like since birth, right?
Yeah, well, yeah,
Like,
they harvest them at birth.
And I feel like that could have again gone to places, but this problem more. I don't want to like blame this movie for it because this movie treats Finn pretty well, unlike the other two. But yeah, I feel like he's just kind of underutilized because he doesn't really have much to do.
But anyway, that's.
Last thing, I don't really have much to say about Rey in this movie. Just that because I want to talk about her in the next one. That's where she really gets like characterization. Other than that, like, she's fine. There's obviously the fact that she does a lot of things that she's just good at with no explanation, but we'll get to that in the next one. I guess, like, my only problem with Rey in this movie is her sort of unexplained hesitance. Like, she doesn't want to go. She's kind of like a reversed Luke. Like, she doesn't want to leave her version of Tatooine because she's waiting for her family or whatever. And then it turns out Maz explains that whoever she's waiting for, she knows they're not coming back. So it feels like the plot kind of forced her to be, like, reluctant. Like, she's literally offered a job by Han Solo, and she's just like, nah, I want to stay on Jakku. Like, she's literally a pilot who could fly anywhere, and she just wants to go back to Jakku, even though she knows her family's not coming back. So that feels kind of like plot-induced, just, like, restriction. However, she does, like, kind of grow out of that by the end when she fights Kylo Ren and everything. And, yeah. What else?
Yeah.
The map to Luke Skywalker. Kind of weird plot device, but sure.
Like, did he write that map? I can't remember. He wrote a map.
That's the thing. They don't address it in the next movies. This is the only one we have to discuss it in. And the thing is, he's the only one who could have, because who else would have kept the piece in R2-D2? Like,
did he write that map? Why would he write a map? If he was trying to run away, why would he write a map to where?
Like, I assume he may not have made the map initially. Like, maybe there was just a map to the original Jedi Temple, but he's the one who left it in R2. Like, most definitely, he's the only one who could have done that. And like, why? Especially considering what we see in the next movie, why would he do that? Yeah, this movie really doesn't care to explain it. It's literally just to get our characters in place for the next one, I guess. And last thing is, R2 just wakes up at the end because plot. Why?
Yeah, that was just whatever.
No, like, I'm not even kidding. That. I actually looked this up. I was like, why did R2 wake up? And J.J. Abrams explained in an interview that he just woke up because. Like, just because. Oh. Like, he literally admits that it was just because. It was because, like, Han Solo died, so we'd be happy to see R2 again. That's literally what he says.
Good to know that JJ's got some clue of what's going on.
Like, it was really just convenient. Other than that, Leia does not hug Chewbacca after Han Solo dies. And I want to cringe. Like, no, she literally walks right past him to hug Rey, a girl she's never met before, in relation to Han Solo's death. The reason I was not mad about this when I saw The Force Awakens was because I was convinced that Leia and Rey would have some sort of, like, personal connection in the past. So maybe that's why she recognized Rey. But as we see in the next movies, she doesn't know Rey, and yet she hugged her, opposed to Chewbacca.
Yeah.
In relation to Han Solo's death. That's actually, like, no. But apparently, also, that's another thing. J.J. Abrams actually said in an interview, the reason that happened is because he forgot. Like, he forgot that he forgot that to make Leia and Chewie hug. He literally just forgot. I'm not even kidding.
Good to know JJ knows what's going on. Good to know JJ's got a good hand on the wheel.
Wow. Okay. At least they showed Chewie Morning or whatever. That's something, I guess.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I have the least to say
I guess that's it for...
Yeah, this is pretty much it. Like, I have the least to say about this movie because it is the most solid. Even though I'm, like, critical of it, it's still a fun watch.
I have the least to say of Rogue One because
yeah, let's move on to Rogue One though.
and in the interest of time, I don't want to say let's skip over it, but we can kind of like skip over it because it's really good.
Yeah, it's a simple movie.
It's a simple movie, but it's really good. And even though the characters aren't in, even though you know going in that they're probably going to die and not be in any other movie, you still find yourself pretty damn invested in them.
Yeah, like I like the movie overall. The only problem I have with it is some pacing issues, but overall,
that's what I was gonna say. It's got some weird pacing issues. It just takes a bit to set up, but once it gets going, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
So I guess we can just go ahead and move on past Rogue One. Like everyone knows, it's a pretty damn solid film.
Yeah. And that brings us to The Last Jedi.
Hell yeah, bro! I love Last Jedi. This is where everything started to go downhill.
This is the movie that. Ooh.
This is where everyone started to realize that Disney didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah. So let me say, when I first saw this movie, I hated it. I just did not like it. Now it has been 2 years, and my opinion is, I do not like this movie. I don't hate it. I do not like it, but it does admittedly have a lot of pros to it. It has some good ideas, some bad ones that just fall on their face, but overall it actually tries. I'll admit that this movie actually tried to do something, because overall I'd say that this new trilogy is kind of just a rehash of what came before. This movie acknowledges it, and Rian Johnson tries to take Star Wars in a new artsy direction. It does not completely work, but he is at least trying to give us something new, and I can credit him for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I know what we said at the beginning, but fuck Rian Johnson.
Oh, damn.
I'm sorry. Look, I don't like this movie whatsoever. It's just, there's so many things I don't like about it. Okay, I know that. Let's start with what he did to Luke Skywalker.
Because of course. That I do not.
Because
here's the thing.
One of the best. I don't want to say one of the best characters in fiction, but one of the best characters in film fiction. One of the most hopeful, lovable characters. Just turned into the cynical douchebag asshole who hates everything. And what?
Yeah, pretty much. Here's the thing.
I just think there's his arc is just absent and makes no sense. And all Luke ever saw in his father was the good. So if Luke ever saw any hint of Vader's darkness in a child, he wouldn't try to kill him. He'd try to talk to him.
Yeah,
he'd be like, "Hey, so what's going on with you, bud? I feel like you're trying to turn a bit evil. Here's why you shouldn't." He wouldn't assault him in his sleep or ever think about that. The stupidity of that is astounding to me.
Yeah, because this is a complex issue. Because let me just say, first of all, I actually like I don't like how it happened, but I like the idea of making Luke a recluse. I like the idea of him acknowledging the faults of the Jedi.
Well, yeah, me too, because Yoda did it, and it worked fine for Yoda.
The problem is how it happened. Him confronting Ben Solo and trying to kill him in his sleep. I agree with you, is unforgivable. And it's not really in line with his character.
It's really weird.
It doesn't make sense. Because, again, he saw the good in Darth Vader, a man who killed thousands. Thousands, millions.
Children. A lot of children.
Fucking children. He saw good in that man. But he sees a child with the chance of turning evil, and he loses. Have you seen, there's this cartoon on YouTube, a little animation I saw called The Inconsistency of Being Luke. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I've heard
Yeah, it's perfectly sums up this, where Luke sees, after everything Luke goes through in the original trilogy, it's oh no, Darth Vader blew up Alderaan, he cut off my hand, and he's torturing me, but I know there's still good in him. Then it cuts to Kylo Ren as a kid, hey, Uncle Luke, what does it mean to be a Sith? And then Luke just goes, he's unsavable, kill him! And I'm just that's pretty much this.
Kill him!
Why would Luke do this to his innocent child, the son of his sister and his best friend? Just because he saw a chance of being evil.
I don't know.
You're his fucking teacher. A Padawan is supposed to have darkness in them because they are susceptible to it. It is your job to keep them away from that. But
yeah.
Like, the thing is, some people are trying to justify
But that's
it now that...
honest to God, Luke Skywalker is not the worst part of this movie. Like,
True. There's so much more.
the worst part
issues.
of this movie, it comes from the everything that isn't related to the Jedi.
Pretty
Because
much.
the movie's called The Last Jedi, and Rian Johnson wrote the entire movie around them, and then realized, oh shit, there's like 30 characters I have to do stuff with.
It's pretty much...
Okay, let's think up some stuff. And it results in what I like to call the slowest car chase in cinema
Exactly,
history.
the Resistance chase is so dumb.
It's so
It's not even a chase.
stupid.
It
Oh,
doesn't even
God.
make sense. Like, I remember, like, I was after watching the movie, my mom brought this
fell
up.
off my
Like,
bed.
yeah, like I was just like, the Resistance chase was pretty boring, but I mean, I get that they had to like drag it out. And my mom was just like, why didn't they just send like TIE fighters to go kill them? And I was like, what are you? Oh crap, she's right. Like, remember?
No, yeah, like
they
there's
send out TIE fighters in the scene where they like blow up the bridge and Leia goes flying out. They send out a squad
Admiral
of TIE
Akbar
fighters.
dies.
And Admiral Akbar dies off screen. Yeah, thanks for that. Like, so in that
Leia
scene,
has her little space adventure.
Leia does like a freaking Superman. But after that, why didn't the First Order do that again? Like, just they literally have like 10 Star Destroyers behind the
they had
Raditz.
shields.
Like,
They
you
had
can send out TIE fighters to just to slowly wear down the shields. That's
And
how
the
space battles
inconsistency,
work.
the inconsistency of the power of the Resistance is so weird because in the
Yeah.
beginning they're shown destroying a dreadnought with like a few ships.
And
Which,
then, like,
by the way, the dreadnoughts just don't ever fucking come up again in these movies.
Yeah.
There's one. Apparently, they had a whole fleet of them, but then,
and then
they
just
didn't.
had one. And we're
then
going
they
to
didn't.
talk about that Dreadnought fight in a second.
But it's I love that scene where like they shoot down the one TIE fighter and then it flies into the ship,
bomber
and then,
ship
like,
and
and then
blows
like
up, like,
30
three of
different
them.
ships blow up because of that one ship blowing up. And
that
it's like,
scene
what
literally
the
made
hell?
me burst out laughing. But,
Oh my god!
But, like, seriously, why couldn't they just, like, go out and attack the Resistance again? Because remember, in that scene where Leia gets blown up, Kylo Ren blows up the hangar bay of the Resistance ships. So, like, they don't have their X-Wings or bombers or anything. They're literally just sitting ducks. So you can just send out, like, a couple TIE fighters to fly ahead, blow up their shields, and then just kill them. And save yourself so much time.
Yeah,
Like, that's the main problem, that the fight could just end instantly. With me.
and even it's hold on, I'm trying to figure out a way to word this, right? Because right now what we're talking about, it's just about as jumbled as the movie.
Pretty much.
Because the movie is so all over the place, and they're having a really slow, boring car chase, and Leia just faints because apparently a recurring trend in these new movies is if the Skywalkers use too much force, they might faint or die. But we'll get to that. Then this pink bitch comes in, the lady with the pink hair, Admiral Dildo.
That's a good
and
one.
she's
I'm not
like,
gonna lie.
okay, I'm taking command of the Resistance because Admiral Akbar died off screen.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what we're gonna do. I'm not telling you. And they're all like, Admiral Holdo, please tell us your plan, or else we might have to do a mutiny because we don't trust you. And she's like, no, I won't tell you my plan. And here's why I won't tell you my plan.
Because hope
Fuck
is like
you.
the sun. Remember that?
Because hope is like the sun.
Leia told me hope is like the sun. If you only believe in
Hope
it when
is
you
like
can
your
see
car
it.
keys. Hope is like your car keys, Hugo. Sometimes you lose them in your pocket, and I'm Justice League. Sorry, I love quoting that from Justice League because if you can quote Justice League, you might as well, right?
Yeah.
Release the Snyder Cut.
Continue.
Okay, yeah. So Holdo has this plan, but she won't tell anyone what she's doing. She won't tell anyone how she plans on getting out of this, pickle that they're in. So, oh my god, I just can't. It's so stupid. And as Leia says later, she's like, she didn't want to tell anyone because she didn't want the credit. And
Yeah,
I'm like, what the fuck is that?
that's the
I was like,
thing.
no,
the movie
that's
tries
stupid.
the movie purposely tries to pull, like the whole subverting expectations meme with this movie.
Yeah.
Like, the movie tries to pull up subversion through this. Like, we meet Holdo, she's literally the last leader alive, and she's mean to Poe, and we are mad because we sympathize with Poe. And the movie acknowledges that she's a bad leader because the freaking Resistance mutinies on her. Like, because she won't tell them the plan. And then when Leia wakes up, she just says, "Oh no, Holdo was the good guy all along, and Poe, even though you cared about the cause and did a mutiny for the good of the Resistance, you need to learn your place because Holdo wanted to seem like Holdo did not want to seem like a hero because she's saying that Poe wanted to seem like a hero even though he didn't. Oh my God. Like he never once shows that.
Like the biggest problem is that since she doesn't tell anyone what she wants to do, Poe is like, "Hey, you guys need to go do this," and then we
sends Finn and Rose, and we'll get to them. But like because Holdo did not tell them the plan, Poe assumes that there is no plan, so he sends Finn and Rose to Canto Bight. They fuck up there, and they end up going back with DJ. DJ, hold
on. You mean they spend 40 minutes fucking up there?
Yeah,
they spend 40 minutes, 40 mind-numbingly boring minutes there.
And then that causes them to
almost
get
fell
DJ.
asleep. I yawned for the first time during a Star Wars movie. I was like,
pretty much.
Is it over yet?
So then they get DJ, and because DJ overhears about the transports, when they get caught, DJ tells the First Order about the transports. So then Holdo's plan is jeopardized. So both her and Poe look like idiots. Neither of them win.
And the only reason that DJ knew to sell them out or could sell them out is because Poe wouldn't tell anyone because Holdo wouldn't tell anyone her plan. So Poe had to send Finn and Rose to do stuff.
Yeah.
So if Holdo had just said, "Here's what we're gonna do," we could have saved 40 minutes of fucking screen time and a lot of lives.
Yeah, the Resistance would not be just 15 people left. Like Holdo, so it's all Holdo's fault basically. But then Holdo gets to make up for it.
By the end of the movie, the Resistance has 15 people left in the Millennium Falcon. And it's all Holdo's fault.
Yeah.
So Leia's like, she didn't want to look like a hero. I'm like, you're goddamn right she wasn't a hero. She was the villain.
And
she
then,
killed so many people.
But then, I'm not sure. Everyone says that she makes up for it by doing the light speed dash. Like, that's pretty much what everyone just forgets.
Okay, well, the physics of that are stupid. But
that's another thing.
Because in the last movie, Han Solo was able to light speed through a door without dying.
But the thing is, I assumed light speed was warping, basically. Like, you go into another dimension, you speed through it, and then you warp out another location. But according to this, it's just going really fast. Like,
I
just don't understand. How it works?
I just don't understand. And once again, I know I'm getting off course, but hey, says the movie. Once again, the only interesting part of this damn movie is Kylo Ren.
Pretty much. He's the only character I like.
He's just the only interesting part of these movies. He's just like, oh my God, what do I want? Do I want to be dark or I can't resist the call of the light? And that's such an interesting ideal for Star Wars. It's always been, a light side character who can't resist the call of the dark. Pretty much. For once, Kylo Ren is the first character who wants to be dark. He's a dark side character who cannot resist the call of the light.
Yeah, and I like
because his whole life he's just been told what to do. He's been told where to go and what to say, and he just wants to feel independent. And Snoke saw that in him, or should I say Palpatine?
Snoke.
Palpatine saw that in him and manipulated him to bring him over to the dark side, and it's such a cool idea, and he's such a great character. He's so well written.
Yeah, and the thing is, I like this. I actually liked Kylo's development in this movie. I think he was the best handled character because he realizes that he killed his dad for nothing when Snoke mocks him and everything. He's like, take that ridiculous thing off. You're like a failure. You're unbalanced. So of course, him destroying the mask is justified. Now he wants to get away from that Vader persona because he's tired of both the light and dark. He wants to be he wants to let it all die and make his own path.
He wants to be the supreme power.
Yeah, and that was actually really cool. And while I have my problems with Rise of Skywalker, I think the revelation with Palpatine, I do not like that he's alive. We're going to get into that. But there's one part of that which I actually like in regards to this, and we'll get to that. But Snoke's death, I guess, is the one that everyone talks about. Before Rise of Skywalker came out, we now know about who he is, but before that, in the context of this movie, Snoke's death is kind of not good. The thing is, everyone's like, oh, the story's not about Snoke, so it's okay if he dies, right?
But no, that's not how that works. You can't just set up a villain and not tell me anything about him to kill him.
The thing is, Snoke's not like Phasma or Hux. He's not just a villain in the First Order. He is the villain. He has somehow managed to resurrect the Empire and destroy everything that our characters worked for. That's kind of important.
Yeah, no, it's like, what?
So,
You
yeah, a
can't
little
have
insight
him
would be
use
nice.
force lightning and then just not explain.
Explain
And
how
I
he
know
does
they
that.
explain, I know, but just back then it was just like 2 years of like, what the hell?
And like back to we mentioned Poe and Finn and Rose. The whole Canto Bite thing, it is completely pointless and everything, but I kind of figured it out
No, no, no,
actually.
no, need a lift?
Like I figured out what they were doing there because of course nobody likes Rose.
Nobody likes
But
Rose.
here's
Although
the thing.
I feel bad for Kelly Mary Tran.
Like the thing is, my problem with Rose is not her character per se, but mainly the fact that she only exists for Finn's character arc once you actually break it down. Same with DJ.
And he really doesn't have that much of a character arc at all.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, first of all, for Finn, I like actually what they were trying to do because the whole point of him in this movie is learning to fight for the Resistance. Because if you remember in The Force Awakens, he's still an independent by the end. Like, yeah, he helped them destroy Starkiller Base, but he only did that for Rey. As, like, dumb as that is, he's not actually a Resistance soldier. So this movie is about him learning to do that. So Rose and DJ play into that because DJ's supposed to represent what Finn will be if he truly becomes an independent and lives free, while Rose is Finn's call to the Resistance. And honestly, that's why the stupid, cringy Canto Bite scene exists. Like, Rose shows
but
Finn...
So,
it is very on the nose, and I hate it. That's the thing.
It's so weird that... that in the end of the movie, when his entire character arc that you just described, him fighting the Resistance, that's about to become... It's about to end when he's about to sacrifice himself. Yeah,
and then Rose cucks him.
If he had sacrificed himself, it actually would have been a pretty good end to his arc because he doesn't have anything to fucking do in these movies anymore. Because it's not like he like the whole arc of him being a stormtrooper, a man on the inside who knows where to go and what to do. That was null. That didn't go anywhere. So his death would have been a pretty, like, not only a good end for his character, but a pretty impactful thing. Like,
yeah, and like, but then Rose saves him, and the reason is that's how we'll win. Not fighting what we hate, saving what we love. And now I guess we'll talk about Solo, a Star Wars story.
Yeah, Solo was Solo. I don't know. This is one of those movies. I think for the longest time, it is a Star Wars movie. The first time I saw a Star Wars movie in theaters and left not happy.
Oof. Like, for this one, it felt like just a movie, and that felt kind of weird, because again, like, Star Wars feels like something special. Like, I didn't like The Last Jedi,
even the
but
bad
it still
ones.
felt, yeah.
No,
like,
I felt like the hell out of Last Jedi. I left the theaters for Last Jedi going, dude, that was really good. And I do that with most Star Wars movies, but for this one, like, I left, and all my friends were like, "What'd you think, Logan?" And I was like, that was not good. And they were like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, it just felt soulless. There was no soul to this."
Yeah, like,
and they're because it's like you go back and you watch the originals, and it's like Han Solo is probably the best written character.
Yeah,
he is charismatic and charming, and he's a badass, and he just has so much. He's so well. It's a perfect combination of the perfect actor and the perfect writer.
In this movie, he's just like if Luke grew up in a different circumstance. Like, he's like,
yeah, no, it's really not great.
Character.
There's no correlation between the character that we see in Solo and the character we see in A New Hope, and they really try to give it some correlation.
Yeah, but then they just like take him on a completely different arc. Like,
it doesn't work at all because the whole movie, it's like, Han, you're a bad guy. Like, it's obvious they keep telling him, characters keep saying, Han, you're a bad guy. You're not a good guy. And I'm like, yes, he fucking is. This whole movie. He does nothing but act like an innocent, wide-eyed, like, perfect little guy. He's not a bad guy, but you keep telling him he is.
And I just realized I know what they're trying to do with Solo, because remember, there was I don't know if there still will be, but there was supposed to be 2 more movies following this one, like a Solo trio. The Solo trio.
Jesus. Because we definitely need more.
But you realize they're trying to do what they did with the prequels, right? Try to show how nice, sweet Anakin became Darth Vader. They're going to show how optimistic, clumsy Han Solo became roguish, mean Han Solo. The only problem is Han's not
yeah.
No, don't do that again.
There is no arc at all in this movie for Han Solo. The only thing that resembles an arc is he ends up shooting Tobias at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, instead of, letting him betray him. But even then, that was just like, okay, anyone with a fucking brain would be like, oh, okay, this guy's going to betray me. Because all he does the entire movie is say, I'm going to betray you. Don't trust me. I'm going to betray you. Don't trust me.
And then it's like, wow, you betrayed us? What a surprise.
Yeah, so it's like, it doesn't count as a character arc if you're just, like, if he doesn't learn anything, if you're just doing what you told him you were going to do the whole movie. And there are some good parts to this film. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I think everyone loved.
I think this soundtrack
everyone loved the music.
Yeah, this soundtrack is actually like the one Star Wars soundtrack in recent memory that I willingly went out of my way to like download, because I like new Star Wars songs. Like, I'm like, oh, Rey's theme is pretty good, Kylo Ren's theme is cool, but I never like download the soundtrack. This one I was like, I gotta download the soundtrack.
I downloaded. I don't do that for Star Wars a lot because I don't really like to listen to Star Wars music, because every now and then it all boils down to the same thing, because John Williams does not like to differentiate. But the three soundtracks that I've downloaded have been Rogue One, Solo, and Mandalorian, and they're all written by different people, and they all sound really fucking good.
Yeah, and they all bring like this new flair to it, and I like that.
Yeah, I like how Mandalorian is like a mix of Western and Star Wars, but we're not talking about Mandalorian, because I could talk about Mando all day. Anyway, I like the music in Solo, and I think everybody loved Donald Glover's Lando.
Pretty much.
Like,
I guess
nobody had a problem with Donald Glover.
The only problem I had with it, which is going to sound kind of like nitpicky, but I don't know, it's probably because I'm just attached to Billy D. Williams so much. Felt kind of like he was trying to be Billy D. Williams. Not like he was. Like, you look at stuff like, as much as we hate the prequels, Ewan McGregor and Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan feel like they are the same character in a way. Like, this, like, Obi-Wan does grow up to be this guy. With Lando, I'm like, this is a guy trying to be Lando, and then the real Lando's better. I don't know. That was just personally me.
Yeah, I get that.
Like, I just thought that Glover,
I thought that, like, looking at Han Solo in A New Hope, I feel like Lando in this movie is really Han Solo from A New Hope. He's so
pretty much
charismatic and likable, and it's like, damn, every time he was on screen, I was like, cool, I'm vibing with this movie. But it was so funny. I've never had a reaction like this in a movie theater before, but I was sitting there watching the movie, and then it got to the part where Kira, like, halfway through the movie, Kira goes, Han, and I'm like, oh yeah. Like, what? Like, this is a Han Solo movie. I'm like,
you just forgot.
I legitimately forgot I was watching a Han Solo movie. I was like, that's weird as shit. Like, that shouldn't be happening.
That's my point with how this should not have been about Han Solo. It should have been about some roguish guy called, like, Ranger and the Squad, a Star Wars story. I don't know.
Yeah, no, like, you could have done, oh my god, there's so many examples. Like, the canceled Star Wars video game 1313.
Yeah, or something like that. Like, imagine 1313 of the movie. Like, people would get like hyped as shit for that.
The guys from Legends that were bounty hunters, or what was that one that Star Wars game that's no longer, like, Shadows of the Empire. The main character of that was like Han Solo. I can't remember his name. But he was like literally Han Solo, but not.
Like, they could have done stuff like that, and that would have worked. And everyone's saying, like, oh, you need, like, the character name, which you don't. Like, Rogue One, main characters, main characters of Rogue One, we do not know. Like, they're completely different people.
Rendar was the name of the guy from Shadows of Empire.
Oh, right.
Who was, like, really charismatic, and he had his own ship, and he was a smuggler, and everyone liked him, and you could have made a Dash Rendar movie, and people and you would have had people who like Star Wars to go see it, and you would have had people who love Shadows of Empire to go see it. You could have had, like, a nice formation of audience right there.
Pretty much. Like, and
it's just, and I don't know if it was the writing or the actor choice, but either way, it just didn't feel like Han Solo to me.
He didn't really. I think, like, I can forgive someone who doesn't really look like Harrison Ford, but he doesn't even act like Han Solo. He just acts like a quirky daredevil guy. That's just how I see it.
Yeah, and see, that's there's a couple more problems I have with this movie, and I'll get to the big picture in a second, but the plot of this movie is just so generic. There's nothing
Yeah.
interesting, nothing Star Warsy about it. I mean, okay, it's obviously Star Wars,
Well,
but
yeah.
it doesn't feel.
It feels kind of restricted and just limited. Like the plot literally
Yeah,
comes down to Han and Chewie, like Han meets Chewie or whatever, and he goes on like this crew mission. It goes wrong, and then the main drive of it is that Dryden Voss wants them to get fuel from a place. They go get the fuel. They get in a crazy accident. Then they come back to Dryden. Then they have a final battle. The end.
so
And
yeah,
Han, Han gets the Falcon, and that's it. Like,
yeah.
Nothing really happens.
That's actually probably my favorite scene in the movie. Is that little poker scene? Just
Yeah.
because that actually feels like Han Solo, like tricking someone and cheating at a poker game to get the ship that he knows he deserves. That feels like Han Solo. And my biggest problem, my big picture problem with this movie is its lack of soul and originality, and
Pretty
how
much.
it just feels like a corporate product. And it's definitely because of the people at the helm. It's definitely because of Disney, you know?
And like, the movie, I guess we kind of talk about like the prequel. Is it called prequelitis? Is this what you would call this? Like where the movie has to do things that fall in place with the original because it's a prequel, like just because.
Well, yeah, that's
like
what
Nick
Rogue
Fury
One
has to
was.
lose his eye. Yeah, like Nick Fury has to lose
Rogue
his
One
eye.
was good though.
Yeah, Rogue One was good.
You know Alex from I Hate Everything?
Yeah.
He tweeted after this movie, and he said, "I just saw it." And this has always stuck with me about these prequel movies, the anthology series that we're making. He says, you have to wonder what we're gaining from just making movies entirely dedicated to explaining one-off lines from the originals. And I'm like,
much.
that has stuck with me, because that's what these two anthology movies have been. They're just dedicated to explaining these one-off lines that nobody cared about.
Yeah,
you know,
like I'll give credit to like this original prequel trilogy, because while they got their problems and while they're obviously like meant to explain one-off lines, at least they try to add something. Like
yeah,
to the
but like
lore
Rogue
and stuff.
One was entirely dedicated to the
like,
line.
just
Oh
the
yeah,
line.
we have Death Star plans, but at least it was good.
Yeah,
But this one is entirely dedicated to the
Just
line.
everything you know about
This
Han
is the
Solo.
ship that completed
Kessel
the Kessel
Run.
Run in 14 parsecs, and they felt the need to make
Actually,
an
it
entire
was
fucking
12.
movie about
It
that.
was 12 parsecs.
I'm sorry,
They
I was
literally make a
quoting
joke
Force
in The Force
Awakens.
Awakens. 12. 14.
They just felt the entire. They felt the need to make an entire movie about that one line. Nobody
Pretty much.
cared.
And
Nobody
like other
wanted
stuff,
that.
like I've outrun big ships, like the big Corellian ships. So look, the Star Destroyers are made on Corellia. Remember when Han said that? Like, and then the Golden Dice.
No, I
like,
don't. I don't remember much from this movie at all, except for here. I'll get to that. I'll get to what I remember in a second, because that's a problem. I think you know what I'm talking about. But back to like, it feels so soulless, and it's like I don't care. I never cared about how he completed the Kessel Run. I thought it was cool to leave it up to interpretation, leave it up to the mystery of the whole thing. But now you've explained it, and it comes down to, oh yeah, he took a shortcut.
Yeah, like it wasn't
And it's like,
even
yeah,
impressive.
okay, the shortcut had a monster and demons and a cloud of storm.
Yeah, if
but,
anything,
like,
it's overdone. Like you really want every
No,
time I
yeah,
think of
it
the
is
Kessel
so
Run,
ridiculous.
I'm gonna think
It's
of this
so
giant
ridiculous.
hentai monster that chases Han down a black hole. I'm like,
I
what
know.
the
I
fuck?
remember sitting in the theater and going, I was picturing like an obstacle course, but
Yeah,
okay,
like, I didn't
here's a
realize
giant
that- yeah.
fucking space demon that shifts dimensions, and it's like, what's going on?
Like, and then I remember at the end of that when he like tells like the guy on the planet they go to, he's like, just did the Kessel Run. I was like, wait, that was the Kessel Run? What the fuck? Like that's overdone.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I knew
I was like,
going
that
into
was
it
the
that it
legendary Kessel Run.
but I was like, Jesus Christ, this doesn't feel like a Kessel Run. It
This is
feels
like
like a
an entire
this
video
feels like
game
a
DLC
gauntlet.
quest. This is like
yeah.
what?
This feels like a gauntlet. It's ridiculous. This
It's
is
just like
something they would
why?
add to Star Wars Battlefront for $15.
Yeah, it's like, and it reminds me of like I guess the battle. Remember the Battle of Heroes from Revenge of the Sith? How now every time you think of like when Anakin and Obi-Wan were friends, you're gonna think of that like 15-minute battle of them like swinging from ropes over lava and jumping on robots and doing backflips. And I'm just like,
if we
okay.
had talked about the prequels, I would have talked about that, because I hate
God.
that battle
That
because
battle
it
is
is
way
also
too
so
overdone.
soulless. There's no emotion at all. Like,
I just love the
these-
bit where they're like swinging lightsabers and they just stand in front of each other, swinging the
These two-
lightsabers over again.
These two brothers who used to love each other and grew up together are fighting to kill each other, and all
And
I
they're
can
just
see is
standing
them
there.
flipping around and doing
Yeah,
CGI
there's
stunts.
no
I'm like,
emotion to
this
it.
doesn't feel like they want to kill each other. It feels like they're trying to out parkour.
Yeah,
like,
like
but
say
yeah.
what you will about like Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan in New Hope, Like, it was simple.
At least it felt. At
It
least
felt like they
something.
were characters. Like, you were focused on the people. Like, do that, but
and that's why.
updated.
That's why whenever people talk about, oh, dude, Revenge of the Sith, best prequel, I love it. It's such a good movie.
You
All
just
I can think
remember
about
that
is
fight.
how stupid that fight is.
Like,
There's 5 lightsaber fights in that movie. There's 5.
Oh yeah, pretty much. And have you seen Scene 38 Reimagined on YouTube?
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking they
flashy.
could do for the Battle of Heroes. Like, it's flashy.
It's a bit flashy,
but it's way not over the top. It's not like that.
It's way not over the top. Yeah, there's no backflipping over lava and tripping and high grounds and.
I have the high ground. I think we're getting off track though.
We're getting off track. So I wanted to talk about the thing that I hate most about Solo, and besides the whole soul thing, because even if the movie didn't have soul, if it didn't do that one stupid fucking scene at the end that everyone went crazy over, and I'm just sitting here imagining the writer's room, and they're like, what would make this movie about Han Solo really good? And they're just like, what? And then someone said, let's put Darth Maul in this movie. And I can just picture this one guy going, wait, why? And then everyone going, shut up, let's do it, Darth Maul!
Like, that scene, I was just like, wait, what? And the thing is, I've seen, obviously, Clone Wars and Rebels, so I was like, oh yeah, he's alive at this point, but why is he here?
I fell for it. Don't get me wrong, I totally fell for it. I was in the theater going, yo, holy shit, bro, it's Darth Maul in live action once again. But then I left the theater, and I was like, wait, why?
No, what's funny, I love the fact that he literally, like, when he's talking to Kira, he summons his lightsaber, and then he just turns it on, and he's just standing there with his lightsaber on, like, look at how cool I am. And I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing?
And they obviously did that just in case people were watching and didn't know who it was. But I'm going to tell you what, that scene right there breaks hologram physics. Yeah. Because there's no color in holograms except for blue. But the man has a red lightsaber.
Like, they literally could have just had Darth Maul's face and played the Duel of Fates or something. Then, like, cut to him in real life to where he is doing the hologram. And then, like, have him turn around and show his face if you have to get across that it's Darth Maul or something. I don't know.
And then a giant flashing sticky note flashes on screen. Hey, guys, it's Darth Maul. Played by Ray Park. Oh, my God. But, like, seriously.
Like, why? I guess he's the leader of, like, the crime organization, which
but now
doesn't even align.
They have effectively written themselves into a corner because they have to explain it.
Yeah,
they have to.
Like, the thing is,
they can't pull some shit like, oh, we're gonna put it in a book, or oh, we're gonna put it in a comic book, or a book, like an anthology book with pictures in it. No, like, you have to explain why Darth Maul wanted to meet Kira and why he was running this organization. Because not everyone has seen Clone Wars. Not everyone has kids that can be like, oh yeah, Mom, by the way, this is why.
Maul, like, got his legs cut off and he's still alive. And you're just like, what? Like, the thing is, isn't his story already over anyways? Like, because I remember in Rebels, he, like, spoiler alerts, he dies in Rebels. Like,
by the time this episode had aired, Darth Maul had already died.
It's
like making a movie about Black Widow even though she died.
Yeah, why would they ever do that, though? Like, it's not like anyone's stupid enough to make an origin movie after the character is dead. Like, obviously. Like,
yeah,
totally. Never.
Don't look up Marvel movies. No, but I don't understand. It's so stupid, and people fell for it. They were like, "Oh, Darth Maul's in it. It's cool. It's a cool reference."
It's like, why? Like, well, okay, he doesn't add anything. Like, if anything, that just confuses stuff.
You could cut the entire scene out of the movie, and nothing would change.
Nothing would change. Like, now that's just confusing because Han doesn't believe in the Force, yet Chewbacca is best friends with Yoda, and his ex-girlfriend works for Darth Maul. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, he doesn't believe the Jedi and Sith exist, yet his best friend, Chewbacca, is best friends with Yoda, and his ex-girlfriend works for Darth Maul. How does that work?
No. Yeah, no, seriously. Not and honestly, I'd never even thought of that before. But now I'm realizing there's no way that Maul and Solo can ever interact.
Yeah,
because then it would counteract Han's whole I don't believe in the Jedi.
Yeah, unless Darth Maul doesn't use his lightsaber or the Force, which would be like dumb. Like, imagine having Darth Maul show up and not like be Darth Maul. So Like,
Yeah.
what would they do with that? But whatever. Like, couldn't they set up someone like Boba Fett? Like, haven't Boba Fett and Han met before in canon? Am I wrong about that? Because I remember them saying that or something.
I don't understand why it would be Maul, and it's literally just for pure shock factor. It's something Dave Filoni would have done.
To be honest,
and Dave Filoni. Anyway.
Yeah, like, what else is there about this movie? Obviously, there's the prequel. Oh, we never talked about the brilliant line. What's your name? Han. Han who?
God.
I have
Son
no
of a-
people.
Damn
Han Solo. That was literally the moment that I contemplated just leaving. I was like, okay.
That's
I'm
my
fine
biggest
with a
problem
prequel,
with this movie is
but that's
it
just
just
stupid.
tries to explain a bunch of stuff that doesn't need to be explained.
Yeah, like I would have just
Like,
cut that
I don't
out.
need to
Like,
know how
wow.
he got his name. I
That
just
was-
thought it was his name. I didn't care. I didn't need to know how he got the blaster. I didn't need to know how he
like-
got the Falcon.
Like, are you like? Why would you do that? Like, imagine Chewbacca got his name because he liked eating Chewy stuff. It's like, I think I'll call you Chewy. If they had that line, I might have actually just left the theater. That's like stupid.
But he did say Chewbacca. Yeah, I'm gonna have to shorten that. I'm like, oh my god, stop explaining stuff. Nobody cares.
It's like, we get it. His nickname's Chewy. We don't need like a whole scene for it. But
It's just not very well written.
and that should wrap up all of Solo, I guess. I mean, I don't think there's any lingering thoughts or anything.
No, I hate Darth Maul. Let's keep going.
Yeah, great.
Like seriously, he is. It's so funny to me how a character from Phantom Menace who had like 3 lines has become the most oversaturated character in Star Wars. He's in everything now, and it's ridiculous. But anyway, let's launch into the movie that broke the internet.
Yep, the one that just came out and is the conclusion to the Skywalker saga. The Rise of Skywalker. Yay.
Yeah.
So I've seen this one twice.
I've never-
I've seen it
I've-
twice, and... Whew.
To start off, I never liked that name. I
know.
I thought it was weird.
It doesn't actually
Even after
mean
the
anything.
movie, I didn't really like it.
Yeah, like, I was so confused. Like, for one, this is just nitpicky, but think about the end titles of everyone. So the original trilogy, Return of the Jedi. Prequel trilogy, Revenge of the Sith, and this one is The Rise of Skywalker. Why not Rise of the Skywalker or something?
Or
like
Rise
that?
of Skywalker.
Rise
I
of
don't know, it's not-
Skywalker. I don't know. Like, if you're gonna be like poetic, why the? I guess it's because the sequel trilogy has always been the Force Awakens, the Last Jedi, the Rise of Skywalker.
No, I think that's just lack of originality.
Pretty
I
much.
don't-
It's
I think they were just like, okay, what happens in this movie? The Jedi end. Okay, we'll call it The Last Jedi.
So, like, I've seen it twice, like I said, and this one is tough because I think it's worse than The Last Jedi. Personally, that's just me. Because
Okay,
like the
well,
thing is,
I think we're gonna have some interesting discussion here.
yeah. Because do you not? You like
I don't
it
think
more?
anything. I don't think anything can be worse than The Last Jedi.
Oh, really?
Because for me, Last Jedi is it's a bad movie and it's a bad Star Wars movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because a Star Wars movie is I go in and I have fun even if it's written terribly. I love the prequels. I mean, like I said, they're written terribly, but I like the prequels because they're Star Wars and they're fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But Last Jedi, it's written terribly, and I'm bored to tears every time I watch it. But so for Rise of Skywalker, it's like, yeah, it's not a very good movie, but I think it's a good Star Wars movie. It's fun and it's entertaining to watch, and I had a lot of fun with it.
All right, like because for me, as much as I hate The Last Jedi, it at least tried to be something. I don't like how it did it, but I agree that I give it credit for at least trying to take it in a new direction. It completely fell on its face in its attempt to take it in a new direction.
Oh, of course, it split
yeah.
the fan base in half.
But for me, like for this one, The Rise of Skywalker is obviously just not trying to be a conclusion to everything. It's just trying to be feels like it's just trying to be like a big budget movie to me. And I don't know, that just kind of, it's fun, but it didn't have anything like going for it for me, I'll say.
Yeah, the problem is, and we could sit here and tear it apart.
Yeah.
Because the more I think about it, I've seen it twice, and the more I think about it, the more problems I find. And And my biggest problem, well, I don't know if it's my biggest, but it is certainly a big problem that I have, is the way they treat my boy Ben Solo.
Like Kylo Ren's
Because,
arc is so conflicted, like and
well, no,
unintentionally.
I think he's got a great arc throughout the whole movie. I think that scene with him and Han tore me apart. That was like the best scene in the movie.
Yeah,
But then he just dies. And it's like, why?
like because they couldn't really
Why?
think of what to do with him. Like they just want to have this
Well,
cool character.
he didn't need to die.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
the thing. I agree. Like they just
it's
want to
like
have this
just
cool character.
they were like, yeah, he had to die. I asked my friends what they thought. One of my friends was like, well, he had to die because the Skywalker lineage had to die. I'm like,
No, it
okay, why
didn't.
though? It didn't. It didn't.
This movie's
He and
called
Rey,
The Rise of Skywalker.
he and Rey could have survived and then had babies, and then Palpatine and Skywalker would have become one, which is what they were trying to do in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's like, why did he die? And the scene where he dies is so stupid because I didn't see it coming. Because twice in the movie they make you think he's dead.
No, 3 times actually. 3 times. Remember, the TIE fighter fucking explodes and then he's just alive. He just gets out with a scratch.
First, the TIE fighter explodes and he's got no scratches or anything. He's just cool. His cape is just fine. And then he's not on fire.
Yeah, then he's just stabbed by.
And then he gets stabbed in the chest. And then the force healing happens.
Yeah, and then he's literally yeeted
Palpatine just yeets him out of the shot.
And then he just climbs back up.
And then, so it's like, after a whole movie of making you think he's dead, I didn't think he was going to die when, you know, the villain is over, it's dead.
Yeah, and he just dies because of his own cause.
And then he just, like, he heals her, and he kisses her, and there's, like, a warmth in his face, and he's crying, and then he's like, oh, okay, bye. Yeet.
Wow.
He died like his mom died. The way his mom died was kind of stupid, too, but I give them credit, because Carrie Fisher was not around to film the movie. I just thought it was funny how she was like, Ben, goodbye.
And then she's just gone.
Yeah, she's like, hey, Ben, yeet.
Oh, can we talk about that for a brief second? Because this has been a big debate. Personally, so for starters, I'll just say this. I don't think Leia should have been in this movie. I just think that they should have written her out in between movies personally. But regardless of that, with what they had to do, with what they had for her, it works. There's only like one scene that feels like unnatural, which is that optimistic line that she has. Remember where she's like, "Do me a favor and be optimistic" to like the resistance soldier, and he makes some stupid joke out of it. I'm like, they clearly included that because they had the footage, but it like means nothing.
No, it's fun. No, that's literally what they did. They coupled together 3 years of deleted scenes and then wrote the movie around that.
Well, actually, funny thing is, it was just the Force Awakens scenes, not The Last Jedi. Apparently,
oh god,
it was
really?
just the Force Awakens deleted scenes. I've been told. Like,
they must have not had a lot to work with.
The thing, because like again, I would have just written her out in between movies. The thing is, like after Carrie Fisher died in 2016, or I believe, yeah,
2016, yeah.
I would have just re-edited The Last Jedi, so Luke does not fade away after doing the Force projection thing, and have it so he's
that would have made Mark Hamill happy.
Like, just re-edit the thing so that we still get the happy ending, but do not have him fade away, so that he can just reunite with the heroes in between, like off screen. He'll just reunite with them off screen, and he can be the lead-in legacy hero in Episode 9. And then have like open the movie on like Leia's funeral or something. That's what I would have done.
Yeah, I applaud their undertaking a challenge with including her in the movie.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I think it was okay. It was well done. Her death was a bit odd, but whatever.
Yeah, the death was kind of.
I think the scene where Chewie finds out she died was really great.
Yeah,
I love that scene.
Everyone admits that's like the most emotional scene in the movie.
That tore me apart. It's not my most emotional scene. The most emotional scene for me was Han and Ben.
Oh,
just because of like.
Oh, I'll talk about that in a second.
But I don't know. I thought it was well done enough. Like, you can only do so much when an actor is dead shy of just recreating them with CGI.
Yeah, which they actually unironically did.
Which they like to do with Peter Cushing, but that's whatever. But yeah, back to the thing that started this. I hate how Kylo Ren died. He didn't have to die. He was the best character in this movie and this franchise, and he was the only character with a consistent arc. He didn't need to die.
It would have been interesting if he like went off, because he's obviously still. They could have done like, I remember reading this fan like what if scenario with what if Darth Vader survived at the end of Return of the Jedi, and like obviously even though he stopped the Emperor, like the rebellion was still terrified of him because he's Darth Vader, and like Luke was trying to protect him, and like Mon Mothma's all like, we'll arrest you, Luke, and or whatever, and it created like this cool drama. So they could have done something like that with Kylo Ren, where like because he was a mass murderer, he wants to make up for it, so he can't just like go back to the Resistance. So he like goes off on his own path separately to like make up for his goods while still being a wanted fugitive.
And what if he like abandoned the name Skywalker?
Yeah, like
then you have the same ending. He doesn't need to die.
Pretty
Somebody
much.
wrote like some fan wrote a better ending than Disney did. You're so stupid.
But also
that seems to be the entire like the recurring theme for these movies is the fans write better endings than Disney does.
Pretty much. And I almost forgot. How did Leia die in this movie? Like, what caused her death?
The same way.
No, I mean, not how she died, but what caused her to die? Because, like, remember how right before she speaks to Ben or whatever, like, she walks off with some Resistance soldier and she's, like, limping, and then Maz Kanata is like, Leia knows what she has to do, but it's going to cost all her strength. And I'm like, is she dying? How is she dying? Like,
so yeah, this is what I was going to talk about. Probably my biggest issue is that the last three Skywalkers, Ben, Luke, and Leia. Mm-hmm. All three, and the Skywalkers are supposed to be probably the most powerful family of Force users in the galaxy. And the last three of them died because they used too much Force.
Exactly.
They were just like, it's too much for me.
From like Force stress too hard. Leia does, and so does Ben.
It's so weird because the thing that Luke did was the same thing that Obi-Wan and Yoda did. And you have to train to be able to do that. You have to train to be able to let go and become one with the Force. So I can sort of buy into Leia doing it. Mm-hmm. But when the hell did Ben Solo train to do that?
Yeah, in all fairness, remember how like Darth Vader kind of just became a Force ghost like naturally without training? Like people say he did it because he like redeemed himself when he stopped Palpatine, so the Force just like kind of gave him like a freebie. So some people are saying that like Kylo Ren got a freebie because he revived Rey or whatever. Like I don't know. They don't really explain that because
hey man, speaking of Vader killing Palpatine, let's talk about that. How that's not a thing anymore.
So Vader just like died for nothing.
How the entirety of Vader's character arc is just null and void because they were so unoriginal that they had to bring back Palpatine. You know what's cool is that J.J. Abrams said that he originally wanted the villain not to be Palpatine but to be the son.
Yeah, the son from
Mortis.
Yeah, from Mortis.
And then he was like, "Yeah, but not enough people watch the Clone Wars." And I'm like, "So explain it."
They could still do that and make like this whole ancient lore thing. People could like understand it if you explain it. Like if it's in a kids show, if it's in a kids show, I'm sure general audiences could understand if you explain it. Like you literally had Darth Maul in Solo, and you didn't explain that.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Not enough people watch the Clone Wars, but we're gonna throw Darth Maul in there.
Solo.
Oh my god! And dude, the reasoning. Oh my god! Did you hear the reasoning that J.J. Abrams gave for Palpatine? He said it in an interview recently.
Oh, is it like because it's supposed to tie the whole trilogy together or something?
No. He said, well, if you look at Return of the Jedi and you look at Revenge of the Sith, Palpatine's there. So it would almost be weird if he wasn't in Rise of Skywalker.
It's like
I'm
poetry, sort of. They rhyme. It's like poetry.
It would almost be weird if we just threw him in at the last second and spoiled it for people. It would almost be weird if we did that. And you know what? That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. It's like, Jesus Christ, are you just pulling shit out of your ass now? And that was exactly how they did it. He was such a rushed concept. It was like. And every time somebody asked Palpatine, or every time somebody asked, "How is he back?"
They just
someone
said
would
vague directions about it. Like
it's like, "Hey, the Sith." My favorite is when in the beginning of the movie, Kylo Ren asks, "How the hell are you alive?" As any sensible person would.
And then he says, "The dark side of the Force.
The dark side is a pathway to some that people find unnatural." And then everyone in the theater was like, "Oh, he said that in episode 3." I'm like, "Yeah, he said that in episode 3." But can you like explain, please?
Yeah, that's very.
I don't care if he said that in episode 3. Give me a fucking reason he's back.
Like Stupid. The thing is, there's so many theories, and
it's like if you're gonna invalidate Darth Vader's entire character, you better goddamn give me a reason.
Yeah, like some people are saying that he actually did die and he got resurrected, which how? Because remember...
me and my friends were all like, "Oh yeah, because Darth Plagueis." But honestly, like, I'm not gonna accept the company just not giving me a reason. Yeah. It's lazy. It's lazy writing, which is the entirety of this movie is so lazy because the first 30 minutes, they go through like 4 MacGuffins.
Exactly.
There's like 3 MacGuffins. The first 30 damn minutes is like, okay, we got to go to this planet and get the knife.
Can we just talk about
and
this
then
whole
we have the
MacGuffin
knife
chase? Like, it's literally, and remember how it's just so rushed. Like the movie itself. Like the movie literally opens on Kylo Ren like killing a bunch of people on some planet. Oh, by the way, that planet that Kylo Ren's on in the beginning is Mustafar. Like the lava planet.
Really?
From, yeah, it's the lava planet from Revenge of the Sith. Like where Anakin and Obi-Wan fought, where Darth Vader built a castle. That's Mustafar. Like that's where.
Oh, really?
Because that Wayfinder that he gets there belongs to Darth Vader. The movie does not explain this, but that's the case.
Damn.
But,
okay.
And we'll get back to that. But yeah, it's literally just in the first 10 minutes. It cuts from Kylo Ren killing a bunch of people and getting this Wayfinder, and you as an audience are like, "What the fuck is that? What is he doing?" And then it just cuts to him flying through this giant like space cancer storm thing, and then he meets Palpatine, and then we cut to Finn, Poe, and Chewbacca in this crazy chase with TIE fighters, and then they do like a weird lightspeed montage. Remember the whole lightspeed skip thing? Like,
yeah,
I almost had a heart attack. That was fucking crazy.
Like you as a viewer is sitting there going, why
are they bouncing?
And you can't relax. And I give Endgame a lot of shit because Endgame's kind of poorly written too. At least Endgame was well paced. Or it was 3 hours long, and you feel that 3 hours, but like you feel it.
Yeah.
You're sitting there and you're given time to digest every piece of information they give you.
Like,
with Rise of Skywalker, it's just so quick.
This movie is
like,
so fast. Like,
it's like, what?
Whoever edited
dead.
This,
God.
it was just
Frick.
Like, it's really just bounce here, then there. And like, if you literally blink, you just miss something.
Another nitpick, while we're light speed skipping through this fucking movie, another nitpick of mine is Babu Frick, because like, Disney has this thing they have to do where like, okay, let's just throw some cute shit into the movie. Just throw some fucking porgs in there. Porgs are cute. They won't do anything. Porgs
is Babu
are cute.
Frick the porgs of this movie? Like,
no, that's what he is.
Pretty much.
That's what he is. At least Baby Yoda is a part of the plot of Mandalorian.
Pretty much.
He's an actual part, and he's cute as shit. I would die for him. But like Babu Frick was so annoying. I sat there like, this is not cute. I would punt this thing across a football field.
Like everyone's saying, he's like this adorable little thing. I'm like, I guess I don't know.
No, he looks like what I imagine a testicle would look like after you deep fry it. He isn't cute. Who finds this thing cute?
He looks like a discount Pokemon
fetus.
thing.
He's disgusting, and I don't understand how people think this is comparable to Baby Yoda.
Like,
Baby Yoda is an angel. Babu Frick is the Antichrist. Disgusting. He's a disgusting piece of trash. Sorry. I hate it. I hate how every Disney Star Wars movie's got to have this cutesy-wootsy plot device that doesn't do anything. The fucking porgs come back in this movie.
Oh yeah, they're only just there on like when Rey's on Octo or whatever. And I'm just like, okay. But,
I don't hate this movie. I like it more than Last Jedi. It's just the more I think about it, the more problems I find. And I gotta stop thinking about it. But I should never have to stop thinking about a movie. I should never have to sit there and go, nope, I liked it. Just be blindly stubborn about how like poorly written it is.
Yeah.
And you know? But I liked parts like the Jedi speaking to her. That was cool.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Remember how in those voices. So do you know who all those voices were? Because this is kind of contradicted. Like I remember, the voices are like Anakin, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan.
I have the official list.
Oh, okay. I know like Luminara, and what's the blue girl from Order 66?
Aayla Secura.
Yeah, her. Kanan,
Aayla Secura, Kanan, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Anakin, and Luke,
and Qui-Gon too, right?
And Qui-Gon and Mace Windu.
Like, so are they Force ghosts? Because not all those people became Force ghosts, right?
No, they're speaking to her from the Force.
Okay,
so they're not Force ghosts, but they are part of the Force.
I just want to highlight how Anakin says, "Bring back balance, Rey," like I once did. Like they're trying to cover, like, guys, Anakin still brought balance to the Force, but Rey is doing it again, which is crap.
Dude, you know what's so fucking stupid? They contradict themselves within the same movie. It's like if Palpatine is back. If Palpatine is back, Anakin did not bring balance to the Force. But Anakin says he brought balance to the Force.
So is Anakin just delusional? Is he just delusional then? He's
Force delusional in his old age.
Poor man, he's so old he doesn't even remember. He's like, I totally brought balance to the Force.
And Yoda's just vibing. He's like, yes, alone you never have been. I hated the reveal, the big plot reveal that she is Palpatine's
Oh
granddaughter.
We almost forgot to talk about that.
No, see, I didn't really have a problem with it. It
Yeah.
explains a lot. It explains how she's so good at everything. But I had a problem with how it was executed because when you go back to Empire Strikes Back, no, I am your father. That shit still holds up.
Yeah,
that was
a big reveal
impactful scene.
Of what they set up.
That hits. The music is so good. And then in this movie, it's just like, you're Palpatine. And then you get like a close-up shot of Daisy Ridley. Her hair
like Kylo just walks up like, you're a Palpatine. She's just standing there. And
she goes, huh? Like, and it's like, it's such a badly framed shot because it's so close that her hair isn't even in the frame.
Yeah, like
I remember she hooks an eyebrow and she's like, huh?
Like she's just like almost like, oh wow.
She's like, you know what you are. Please
it's
react.
Like imagine if it's just like
she's a good actress.
Yeah, imagine if it's just
did
like
J.J. Abrams just from his director's chair just like, all right, Daisy,
just
don't make surprised. A face.
Yeah, just
do nothing.
Like imagine just
and she was like JJ, but this is supposed to be a big scene. I don't care. Just don't be surprised.
Like imagine if Kylo Ren is just like, you're Palpatine's granddaughter, right? It's just like, who's Palpatine again? Like maybe that's why she didn't react. She's like, wait, who is he again? Because remember, she didn't even know Luke Skywalker existed. So for all she knows, she's like, who's Palpatine? Remember the Emperor guy? Oh, that's his name.
No, but she knew that. Dude, I hate how rushed this movie is. It's so rushed that Palpatine coming back was not even shown.
She's just here.
It was talked about in the opening crawl. The second sentence.
Yeah, the dead
speak. Opening crawl.
Palpatine's alive.
Now,
I'm just like, what?
Hey, hold on. I'm not giving this movie credit. I will say it was shown in Fortnite.
Are you for real?
Did you not know that?
Oh, was that for real? I thought some people were joking when they said that. I heard them talking about Palpatine's
origins. No. If you chimed into the Fortnite exclusive event and played the Star Wars event, the exclusive event was Palpatine saying, "I have returned," but see, I don't play Fortnite.
Neither do I.
Can you imagine if for Avengers Endgame, like,
you got like
they had some piece of plot information.
Like imagine if the opening scene of Endgame right before 5 years later is like in Fortnite and not the movie.
No. Here's a good example. Imagine if Endgame opened and Tony was already back on Earth and you had to play Fortnite to understand how he got back. Yeah, that's what they did for Rise of Skywalker. And it's so stupid.
Oh my gosh.
Something that is actually pretty important to the plot was included in a video game for children.
I mock them for how they leave important information only in like books or comics, but now they're literally
this is a new level.
Are you kidding me?
At least I read a book or a comic, but I'm not gonna play Fortnite to know something that comes out of a movie I want to see.
That's just why. And the thing is, can we talk about how Palpatine's entire thing... Palpatine doesn't make sense in this. So, first of all, there's the whole reveal things. Like, Palpatine reveals he made Snoke. The movie does not reflect on this for more than 5 seconds. That's a pretty big deal.
I was okay with that because I assumed from the start that he had cloned Snoke from himself or something. Like, I was okay with that.
I guess they'll probably explain it in some comic book or like novel or something or Fortnite.
Well, when Kylo walked into his
lair, he saw like the Snoke clones, right?
Yeah, so he was definitely just a clone of Palpatine.
How does that work?
And I was okay with that.
Yeah.
Because at least it was hinted at.
Yeah. Like, how does it work? Because remember, Snoke's been around since before the Empire, so did he just like have him as a backup?
Maybe he lied.
The thing is, Snoke is his own. Even though he's a clone, he is his own person. Because remember, Palpatine says like Snoke trained you well. So does Snoke have his own Force powers? Like he made a Force-sensitive clone, I guess. I mean, at the same time, he says, "I've been every voice in your head." So was he like given
inside
Snoke
your head
powers? Yeah. Like what? Whatever. Regardless of that,
understand. Yeah. This movie has so many problems.
The thing is,
I just don't understand.
I will give this a positive because Snoke's death. This actually makes Snoke's death a whole lot better. Because I complained about how Snoke's death was like meaningless, but if you think about it, Snoke was basically a test to make Kylo better than Vader. Because like Kylo did what Darth Vader never could, because remember, it's Sith tradition to like overthrow your master, and Darth Vader never could because he was like literally injured and too weak to. So now Kylo basically, by killing Snoke, Kylo basically killed his equivalent of the Emperor. So he's like perfect Sith Lord material. Yet Palpatine does not take advantage of that. Like, that's the only downside, that Palpatine doesn't take advantage of that.
I'm trying to think of some other things I liked. Because I liked the fact that Kylo's goal was different than Vader's. Like, he's just like, nope, fuck you, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, he just wants to roll
I like that. I've always liked that Kylo is like I said, I've always liked that Kylo's the character who wants to resist the call of the light. So he's trying to submerge himself, to drown himself in that darkness.
That's pretty good.
And then that scene where he finally lets go of that and tosses his lightsaber into the sea, that's such a good scene.
Yeah.
And then he dies.
Exactly.
Like a bitch.
The only downside to the Han Solo moment for me is that it's a memory. Like, because like obviously Han can't be a Force ghost. I just feel kind of like, when you think about it, Kylo Ren like getting the acceptance of Han Solo is his like imagination, like what he imagines Han would say to him. So he's kind of getting acceptance from himself. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I think it's a little bit of it. I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's like, I still like the moment,
kind of using the Force to peer into the past or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't question that just because it was such a great scene.
It was.
I questioned Leia's reasoning for putting up her lightsaber.
Oh yeah.
All those years ago.
Remember what? Like,
she was just
you
like,
heard that too.
Just like
Luke says, Leia was like, saw in the future of her journey that her son would die, so she like gave up the lightsaber. So she wanted someone else to continue her journey for her, and I'm like, wait,
so her
what?
son would die.
So she wanted someone else to continue the journey to kill her son.
So it wouldn't be Leia's fault, as long as it's not Leia's fault.
Like, the thing is, no one questioned that because they were just like baffled by their CGI.
Wait, is that what Leia thought she was doing when she peered through? Was she trying to get Ben killed?
Oh God!
Hey Ben, turn around! Right, do it now.
That's
dude, horrible. This movie.
Oh God!
Oh, this movie.
That's actually terrible. Oh my gosh!
I saw it here. I saw this thing today. It was so funny. It was just like, literally any Jedi beats Palpatine in a fight. Palpatine remembers reverse psychology. Yes, strike me down. And then the Jedi's like, what? Join me in the dark side. Where are you getting this from, dude? It's like, and then it says Palpatine completely bullshitting at this part. I am on the Sith. They are all in me. Can we talk about how Palpatine is just like, I'm going to drain you of your Force energy, but I'm going to stop while you're still alive for some fucking reason.
Yeah, what?
or how he's like, I need you to kill me so I can pass into your body, but apparently I don't. I'm just going to drain you of your Force energy.
Like that whole scene makes no sense, because again, that ties back to the fact that Kylo Ren killed Snoke and was perfect Sith Lord material. And remember, Kylo comes to Exegol with the intent of killing Palpatine. So why didn't he just let Kylo kill him there and then quote unquote pass on into Kylo?
It had to be his genes.
Like, it
had to be his genes.
It didn't have to be. Like, is it literally just being picky? Like, he just wants Rey because Rey's related to him. Like, why?
and while we're on that, when and who did Palpatine?
Exactly. Palpatine had
because he was 60 years old. 60 years old during the Clone Wars. So who got down and jiggy with a 60-year-old man?
Who looked like that? Who looked like what he looked like? Like,
no, I mean, he looked normal during the Clone Wars.
Right, you're right.
But he would have had to had the child. And you're telling me that if Palpatine knew he had a son, he wouldn't get rid of that child immediately?
Yeah, and the thing, because remember his son, who I think his name is like Derek Palpatine, which...
wow.
Derek.
Scraping the bottom of the barrel there.
Point is, his son...
I accepted Tobias from Solo, but I refuse to accept Derek. Dirac sounds more Star Wars than Derek.
Like, the thing is, his son probably wasn't, like, Force sensitive, which is why he wanted his granddaughter, which, if that's the case, just kill your son. Like, you don't need him.
I don't know. I don't know, man. Don't ask me. I'm not Palpatine. I'm not Ian McDermott. I don't even Ian McDermott wouldn't know. He's like, I just got paid. fucking this movie is so many messed up plot lines and forgotten. It's just like the stupidity of hey Ray, we're drowning. I have something to tell you, and then that never goes anywhere.
Oh yeah, do you know what he was gonna say though?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that he was force sensitive. Like
Yeah,
that
because
could have been
when
something.
I'm drowning, when I'm drowning with my friends, the first thing that comes to my mind is, hey, I have this cool ability that will not help us in this situation. I just
Like,
thought I should
why?
let you know.
Like the thing is, why wouldn't he tell her that?
What definitely happened was J.J. Abrams wanted to go somewhere with the love interest arc,
Yeah.
but then forgot about it and covered
probably.
his ass in that interview. He covered his ass.
Oh god. And like, why wouldn't you tell like Leia that you're force sensitive? Like, you need Jedi now more than ever. Go up to Leia and be like, "Hey Leia, I can use the Force." Oh, okay, I'll just train you and Rey at the same time. There. Like that's how simple it has to be. Like, he may not be as good as Rey, but at least he'll be decent. Just saying.
They even try and set up sequels in the end, even though
like
it's the end of the saga.
Now they're just
the
trying
saga will end, but the story lives forever. No,
Like,
it fucking won't.
remember
10 years
Lando
from now,
and
I'm gonna have Rey try and train a Jedi, but then she tries to kill the guy, so she like goes to an island and gets all sad. Like you've got so many stories they try and set up. Like Rey's got a yellow lightsaber now, and she's Skywalker. And then that stupid scene where Lando's like, "Hey, where are you from, kid?"
And then like,
and
goes
she's
nowhere.
like, "I don't know." And he's like, "Let's go find out." Like, what are you doing?
What is this?
Are you hinting at the fact that he's her father?
Yeah, I think that was actually like a cut storyline. There's a lot of rumors that there was like this
black people don't exist in the Star Wars universe, so everyone's related to Lando.
Not that fact. I mean, the fact that basically there was like some old cut story that Lando, the reason he's on the sand planet was instead, like, you know how he's on the sand planet because they were looking for Uchi or whatever, the Sith assassin.
Sure.
Like,
I
originally,
remember his name.
Yeah, that was his name. Originally he was supposed to be there because he was like waiting for his daughter, or cause his daughter got like kidnapped and he felt sad, so he just like never bothered going for her.
It would have been a lot better if it was his daughter. I mean, I just would have related with that character more.
Yeah. The thing is, let me talk about, before I forget, this is gonna sound really weird, but you know the girl Jana, the girl that Finn is with, that's Lando's daughter, I think she should have been Rose. Just hear me out. I don't like Rose.
No, you're right.
But,
Rose did nothing in that movie.
Like, I think that at least Rose has an established friendship with Finn, so when we get moments like Finn wants to stay on the Star Destroyer to blow it up and sacrifice himself, Rose would be like, "I'm going with you," because they already have an established friendship. Like, instead, this random girl Finn's never met is like, "I'm gonna die with you," even though we've known each other for like 2 hours. So it should have been Rose. Well, we're all over the place with this movie because there's so much to cover. What else am I forgetting?
Oh, and I called it months ago, by the way. I fucking called it. I remember watching the trailers, and all my friends were like, "Yo, that Rey with a red double-bladed lightsaber." I'm like, I'm telling you right now, that's going to be nothing more than a 5-second clip they used to sell toys. I called it.
Literally 5 seconds.
Shit went nowhere.
That lightsaber is so dumb. Like, it's literally just for toys. Because in the fight, like, I remember bursting out laughing because, like, she uses, you know how it can, like, flip up and down. So Dark Rey, like, flips it up to, like, trap Rey's blue lightsaber in between her red ones. And I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing? Just slash down and you'll cut her in half or whatever. Like, why are you holding it there? Don't you love how she had fangs also, like a vampire? That was that made me burst out laughing. I was like, "Oh, what?"
Well, hey, how do we symbolize that this person is evil? Give him sharp teeth.
Like, shouldn't we just give her yellow eyes like a Sith? No, give her sharp teeth. Like, are you kidding?
Give her sharp teeth. Give her sharp teeth. Give her sharp teeth. Oh my god. We gotta wrap this up. We're gonna be here forever.
Pretty much.
I don't.
What other things do I discuss? Force, the Force, and just the Force in general, and Luke because he
physics.
The Force is, like, you can just, like, literally grab stuff off people now through Force bonds or whatever.
Well, Yoda tapped Luke on the head with his cane in the last movie.
Summoned a bolt of lightning to blow up a tree. And then in this one, Luke's ghost grabs a lightsaber, uses the Force on an X-Wing. Like, so I find myself asking, why doesn't Rey just go to Palpatine? Like, some people are saying that Force Ghosts can't show up unless they have someone they're connected with there. So, if I buy into that, Rey should just walk up to Palpatine, go like, get him, Luke. Luke's Force Ghost shows up. She hands him her lightsaber. So Luke's Force Ghost takes the lightsaber and kills Palpatine and all his followers with lightning or whatever. Like, that's all he has to do.
Look,
like, we're
okay.
going off that logic.
We're going to be talking about this for ages.
Yeah, so to wrap it up...
I was going to wrap it up with, basically, I don't want to say the sequels were a mistake, but they were executed very poorly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a clear lack of what they wanted to do, changing the narrative every movie.
Like, they just, like, kind of ad-libbed it, which isn't how you do
every 30 minutes, even.
story.
Like, oh my god. Force Awakens is the only one with a concise, clear, streamlined story.
Yeah, and, like, the thing is, J.J. Abrams, he didn't have, like, full scripts, but he had basic concepts and, like, rough drafts laid out for episode 8 and 9, and then Rian Johnson reportedly just, like, said that he kept nothing from them, and he made his whole new movie from scratch, which isn't how you make a story in motion. Like,
and it's so weird.
At least
and we never talked about this with Solo.
Mm-hmm.
That Disney fired the original directors, Lord and Miller, from Solo because they wanted to do something different with it. They fired them, but they let Rian Johnson just fucking completely derail the train that was the movie. So it's like they didn't want Solo to be fun, but they were okay with Last Jedi being bad.
Just being, like, derailing everything. And the thing is, I mean, you have to make up your mind, because they either want to ad-lib it or they want to stay restricted. It's like, reminds me of the MCU, how Edgar Wright got fired from Ant-Man and everything for his different vision.
That was bullshit.
Hashtag Griff Edgar Wright Ant-Man. Hashtag Edgar Wright Ant-Man.
Disney just doesn't... I have always said... Disney doesn't hire directors to direct movies. If you have ever directed a Disney movie, I'm sorry, that's not a flex, because all you did was do what they told you to do. The only directors who have ever actually done something unique with Disney have been, in my opinion, Taika, James Gunn, and the Russos.
I can get behind that. Like, I mean,
and then I guess some people who work on their other movies.
Yeah. So, like, back in Star Wars, there's two more things I want to go over with The Rise of Skywalker. First is the Final Order. What the actual shit is this escalation crap? I knew when the Star Destroyer blew up Kijimi, I almost had a heart attack. I almost died. Like, I was like, did that just happen? I'm sorry. Am I watching the right movie? A Star Destroyer just blew up a planet. This is like the most fan fiction, like...
No, I know. It's like a fucking fan. It's like an autistic fan wrote this.
This is like something I wrote as a kid.
The Star Destroyers have Death Star lasers on them, and also there's red stormtroopers this time.
Yeah,
and
it's like,
what? Oh my god! And did a child write this?
Like, it reminds me of, like, when I'd play, like, Lego Star Wars games, and I'd be like, look, they have, like, giant laser... They have, like, lightsabers that can shoot laser beams, and, like, Luke can shoot force lightning, and, like, the Star Destroyers can, like, shoot lasers that, like, turn you to stone. And I'm just like, what?
Also, Rey's a Palpatine?
It's like a fan fiction. I'm like, I can ignore, like, the whole...
And then he's gonna say, execute Order 67.
Thank God he didn't say that.
Yeah, I know. I read in a leak that he said that, and if he had said that in the movie, I might have
burst out laughing.
I would have been like, that sucks.
Oh God! Like, the thing is, I'm just like, why? Why is this what you want to do to raise the stakes? This moment really wanted to just be like this cool, dramatic moment, and I'm just like, you literally got done with Starkiller Base. I hate Starkiller Base for this reason, and now you just do Starkiller Base times infinity. Like,
yeah, and I love how
me?
it's like. How, fucking Poe Dameron in the last movie when he asked for help.
But hey, it's Lando. Sus. Like, here they come.
Exactly.
But it's... I found myself thinking about the Final Order as like, the First Order's just, like, losing all of these battles. And just General Hux goes, man, I really wish we had some secret ally who could help us out with an unknown number of Star Destroyers and just wipe our enemy off the face of the earth. I really wish there was someone out there who had the resources to assist us in this war.
And then they just get...
It's like this Palpatine's just like,
I must wait for the right...
It's just so bad. And, like, there's this whole physics thing. Remember how they had to, like, lift out of the ground and they couldn't, like, tell which way was up or whatever because, like, gravity and... I just can't. Like, this is such a weird, contrived, like, final battle. And, like, if you actually watch the final battle scene again before, like, Lando and the Avengers, the Starship show up.
Portals
before
scene.
the portal scene.
Start playing Alan Silvestri.
Before that happens, and, like, the Resistance rushes in, there is so many lasers just flying around. I got PTSD to the Battle of Coruscant from Revenge of the Sith. Like, it literally looks like that all over again.
It's
and
like,
I'm just like,
where the hell did all these ships come from?
I'm just like, what am I looking at? Like, this is literally such an attempt to raise the stakes that it's just horrible. And then
I love Poe's little line.
There's too many of them, but there are more of us. Poe.
On your left.
I was like, was Lando just like hovering in orbit? Just wait till he says the thing. Damn it! Wait till he says the thing.
And then he just has them all flying. It's just like
Lando hears like there's too many. Okay, go now,
now we do it. Now we look all cool, guys. But and like the thing is, unlike the endgame moment that this desperately wants to be, we don't know any of these ships. They're just a bunch of nameless.
Yeah, it's not really
CGI
earned.
Ships.
The only one we get to see inside is Wedge Antilles.
Yeah,
and that
Wedge
was cool.
in the Millennium Falcon, which was a nice little Easter egg, and then or a nice little reference. Cameo. I used the wrong word. Cameo. A nice little cameo. Point is, and we also have Zori Bliss and Babu Frick in X-Wing or whatever.
Why was he there?
I don't
What
know.
is he gonna do?
Remember,
What's he gonna do?
How did they get off Kijimi? This is such a weird thing. Remember how Zori Bliss like gave them the medallion thing? Literally gives them a magic coin like this is a video game to like get on the ship or whatever.
That didn't go anywhere.
And, and
that
then
didn't really
remember
go
that
anywhere.
was her only way out of there. But then she somehow gets off the planet anyways before it blows up. By the
Hey
Star
man,
Destroyer.
what do you expect them to put thought into their plot lines? What the fuck is wrong with you?
But anyways,
shut up and consume the next product.
But anyways, and then they're literally the only ships we know there are the Millennium Falcon, the one with Zori, and the Ghost from Star Wars Rebels. But we don't see who's on that ship. Like,
was the Ghost even in it?
Yeah,
there
it was
too
there.
much
It was
shit
right
going.
behind the
It's like
Millennium
in game.
Falcon.
It's like I need to pause this shit and
Yeah.
actually pick out. And like my friend,
All those
God,
ships
I
are
love
just
him
there.
so much. My friend was just like, "Oh yeah, the Razor Crest is there too." I saw it
Really?
in the trailer. I'm like, I'm gonna take your fucking word for it because I'm not looking.
yeah,
for that.
like for all I
What?
know, Slave One, like Boba Fett's ship is there too. For
Somebody
crying out
could
loud.
tell me.
Like-
Somebody could tell me the Quinjet was in there.
The
and I'd
Quinjet
be
was
like, yeah,
probably there.
they probably snuck that
Watch
shit in
the
there.
Batcopter was there too, just like literally in the background.
Thanos copter.
The
Thanos
Thanos
copter.
copter was in that shot. Like,
Superman
there's just a bunch
was
of
just
spaceships.
flying
Superman
next to
just
Ghost.
casually flew by at one point.
You had to look for it. You had to.
Remember, see, that's what people did with Endgame.
Yeah.
Months after Endgame, they were like,
Actually, Kraglin was actually in the final battle of Endgame.
Like,
you have
did
to
you notice
pause it at
Howard
this
the Duck?
specific frame. You have to pause it at this specific frame of this shot and look at that tiny pixel in the corner, and you'll see it. I promise.
Like, what else about the Final Order? They just get blown up because, like, the logistics of this battle, I'm going to have to watch it again to actually process what the heck happens there. But all I know is it's a
twice
stupid,
was enough for me. Thank you very
like,
much.
and then all the ships just explode because, happy ending. And then we have a montage of them exploding across the galaxy. Like, look, there's one over Endor. There's one over Jakku. Also,
Reference.
remember that one-off
reference.
line? Remember that one-off line when they're going into battle where that guy's like, we should do some holo maneuvers to take out these ships, right?
Oh my god!
And then they say that move is 1 in a million, but then remember over Endor, somebody did it to a Star Destroyer over Endor, as we see at the end. So you can do it. So just go into the battle and do, like, how is that one in a million? It's like
that
crashing
move
a
is
car.
1 in a million.
How?
Except I think Poe did it earlier in the movie,
Like,
piloting the Falcon.
just like it's like crashing a car into another car. Like, that's not exactly 1 in a million, but whatever. That's a bunch of logistics, and I
Yeah,
can't
we
get into
got we got to wrap this
Yeah.
up. I swear
Last
to
thing
God, we
is,
can't
I
talk
guess,
about this forever.
So the final battle
Killing
is
myself.
dumb. It's overcomplicated. Palpatine dies like a loser. Like, Palpatine,
I love that.
Palpatine
I love that.
literally does not learn his lesson when Rey is
This is
reflecting
the second
lightning
time
on
in
him.
his life where he's been like, unlimited power. I'm just going to shoot at them harder.
Like, you don't remember when this happened with Mace Windu and Darth Vader? You're like, hey, maybe
he turned into
stop.
Darth Syphilis. He just thought that it would work out for him better.
I'm just like, maybe you should stop doing that, fam. Just choke her to death with the Force. if
Stop
you want.
shooting, teleport behind her, kill her.
Exactly.
Hey, Palpatine's too much for me.
Oh, but now I have 2 lightsabers.
Oh my god, 2 lightsabers, and then she reflects it and kills him? Like, are you kidding me? Like, that's it. Yoda couldn't beat Palpatine. Mace Windu almost did, but whatever. None of these characters did. Rey did it with 2 lightsabers reflecting his lightning.
Yeah, they did. They were in her.
Oh yeah, the Jedi. Wow, they strengthened her.
They were in her.
Ugh.
Okay, what was your last thing?
Palpatine just died too easily, and last thing I wanted to discuss was that the missed opportunity with Rey and Kylo Ren fighting him. Remember how like they both show up to fight Palpatine with like their 2 lightsabers? Like Rey has Luke's and Kylo has Leia's or whatever, and they stand off to fight him, and then Palpatine just goes,
I like that.
And it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna get a cool final battle, and Palpatine just goes, no, and he just knocks their lightsabers out and drains their energy.
He just like flicks
Kylo
Ren
away.
away.
He's just like, no, and then he just drains their energy.
It actually would have been pretty cool if he. I would have forgiven a lot of the stupid shit if he like tossed out his 2 gold red lightsabers.
Yeah, and we got like a cool
Maul
like
and Savage
final battle or something. Yeah, like the Darth Maul Savage press battle. That would have been cool.
Like if he had drained them of their energy
and then like
taken his lightsabers out.
That could have been something. Like it could have been like the Lego Star Wars final battle. Because remember in like Lego Star Wars, you play as like Luke and Darth Vader against the Emperor. And it's like a cool.
Now I'm thinking about it. What the hell is going to be the final battle of the game? Is it just
the
be,
new Lego game? It's literally just going to be they're probably
mash A repeatedly to reflect
lightning. That'll be fun.
But yeah, no, because obviously if that had happened, we'd be sitting here saying, "Where do you get the lightsabers from?"
Oh,
but
true.
It would have been better than, "Why did he die like such a bitch?"
Exactly, and they who knows? He's probably still alive. He probably teleported, and he's gonna come back in Star Wars Episode 16.
He's in her now.
Yeah, he's in season Rey now. It'll be back in Star Wars Episode 16, the revival of the Sith or whatever.
Okay, all right.
And last thing to discuss is the ending, just the ending of the movie. So, Rey and Kylo kiss. I want to vomit. That was a brother-sister kiss according to J.J. Abrams.
They're a dyad in the Force. Literally like a brother and a sister. But sure, let's have them kiss.
And it's not like it was like a peck on the cheek, on the lips or anything. They like went in there. Like they got in there.
There was tongue.
There was some tongue in there. I remember everybody burst out laughing in my theater when that happened, and this one kid just goes,
"Yeah,
ew."
no." Connor, the most devoted Star Wars fan I know, who defends it tooth and nail, was sitting next to me and he goes, "What?" He's like, "What?"
So then the whole rebellion or resistance celebrates.
Well,
they're all.
Can I say sorry about that kiss? It would have been a lot more impactful if they like hugged each other.
Yeah, like
and
they
then
were
as they were
actually
hugging.
Then
Kylo
died
disappears.
in her arms, or they disappeared.
I would have been like, "Yo, what the fuck?" But instead,
I would have made
it
it. Like, yeah, it would have literally just sparked a bunch of Avengers Infinity War memes. Like, I don't feel so good, Rey, and then he would have dusted or whatever. But that would have worked.
Yeah, but like, he literally gets half a second worth of a shot. He's just like, "Yeah, bye."
He's like, "Yeah, I'm just dead," and then he just fades off. And
so back to the ending.
So the ending of the movie, the Resistance celebrates. A bunch of Star Destroyers blow up. Look at all the nostalgia. Look, it's Endor. And look
at the way the
Ewoks. Look, it's Jakku.
It's Babu Frick.
Babu Frick, yay! Everybody hugs and is happy and whatever. And then
Poe doesn't get his kiss.
Poe doesn't get any. Chewie gets a medal.
I kind of like that.
I like it. The only thing is like it means nothing in the context of this scene because like what is Chewie gonna do? He's like, I got a medal. Hey Han, look at the medal I finally. Han? Oh right. Oh,
I got a medal.
Hey,
I'm
Luke.
alone.
He's like, Luke, look at the medal. Oh, Luke's gone too. Oh, Leia, look at the. Oh, my friends are dead, and then he'll just cry again. Like, okay, I guess. But other than that, then we cut to the true ending. Rey goes back to Tatooine for
Palpatine.
I almost said Palpatine. Rey goes back to Tatooine for some reason. Like,
to bury the sabers.
Like, remember Tatooine, guys? Like, I almost thought it was Jakku. Then I saw the Junker from the Jawas, and I was like, oh. I was like, oh, we're back here. So then she buries the saber. She gets a gold one because toys. And then
where'd she get it? Where'd she get it?
Oh, I think it's from her staff. I think it's from her. Yeah, remember that how her old staff? I remember looking at the staff and saying those ends of the staff look like lightsaber hilts. But then you never brought that up.
Where did she get the Kyber
That's
crystal?
a good question. According to some people are saying that she took the crystals of Luke and Leia and melded them together from the lightsaber, and it turned gold.
No.
Which I don't think that's how it works.
No.
But regardless,
Dude, it's gonna be so funny when some guy on Tatooine by with a metal detector and
just
picks up two
finds two
sabers, and he's just
lightsabers.
like, and then that's the villain of episode 10.
Episode 10.
It's a Jawa with two lightsabers.
So then, the old lady passes by and is all, "Oh, can we talk about how Rey is just gonna live in the Lars homestead? Like, imagine if she just like dusts it off. And
I
just
don't think
finds-
she's gonna live
she's not
there.
Gonna live there.
I think she
just
just went back there symbolically.
Okay, and imagine if she just like finds Owen and Beru's corpses are just still there, and she's like, "Oh, what are these things?" But didn't it catch
Crispy
on fire?
bodies
Though?
by the door.
Yeah, didn't it catch on fire?
Yeah,
Whatever.
Oh,
Point is, Ray's all so. Then the old lady comes by and she's all like, "Who are you?" And it's like Ray, and it's like Ray who? And it's like, and then she just goes, "I have no people." Oh wait, that's the wrong movie. Sorry. Instead Ray's like,
Why the fuck do people ask that question so much? In
yeah,
the Star Wars
the little
universe?
kids like,
Ray
it's like
who?
the little kids like,
Why do you
want to know your
care,
family
bitch?
name? I'm just like, what does that mean? Like, do people in real life go around saying, "I'm John Quincy, John Lucas Quincy," or whatever? Like,
It's like,
what?
hey, nice to meet you. I'm Logan. No one's gonna say Logan who.
You're just gonna say, "Oh, okay, nice to meet you." But then Ray looks off and she sees Luke and Leia's ghost, very sweet. Then she's like,
And Ben's
Ray,
not there
and
for
Ben's
some
not
reason.
there. The reason I've heard is that this is gonna sound weird, but some people are saying because they were a dyad in the Force, it's because Ben lives in her, like the Jedi. Ben's inside of her.
Okay, well, Luke's inside of her, damn it.
But he's there. Technically, so is Leia, but she's there. So I don't know. Like, imagine if Ben just like popped up just awkwardly, and he's all like, looks at Luke, and he's like, "You tried to kill me in my sleep." And it's like, yeah, well, my dad killed children. It runs in the family. So, but then
No, and it's just like he pops up in between him. He looks at Luke. You tried to kill me in my sleep, Leia. You killed your father.
It's just like, fair point. So then it's all like Rey Skywalker.
Hate it when mom and dad fight.
So then Rey's all like, "I'm Rey Skywalker." She looks off in the Twin Suns because remember the Twin Suns, and then it's over.
And BB-8's there for some reason.
Why is BB-8 there? She doesn't own him. Like, he's just there because marketability. Because remember the shot where she walks with BB-8 in the trailer from The Force Awakens? And I'm just like, she doesn't own him though. Whatever.
Okay.
The movie's over.
This movie's kind of a headache, but I find it enjoyable.
I'll admit that. Oh, I almost forgot to mention the dagger. The moment that made me burst out laughing in the theater, where they walk up to the Death Star 2, Rey takes out the dagger, and she somehow perfectly aligns it with where the Wayfinder is. I'm like, what?
You know what would have been so much easier, and you could have cut out like 3 minutes of screen time, is just, hey, Bounty Hunter's ship has a map to Exegol.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wait,
that's it.
Dio had a map to Exegol. The droid. Remember the droid that was in the Bounty Hunter? No, he did. Remember, he had a map to it, but they couldn't get. But then they could, or was it? Maybe he didn't. He had he had a layout of the plans. Never mind. He had a layout of like the Final Order plans, and then Rey led them to Exegol in Luke's X-wing, which yeah.
Flew after 60 years.
So last, I guess, where were we talking? We were talking about the ending. We're talking about the dagger. So that was just plot contrived. It made me laugh. I just wanted to point that out. But yeah,
I think to wrap this up, we're gonna have to tell our audience that me and Hugo are making a vlog.
Oh
and
yeah,
we're gonna go to Los Angeles, and we're gonna ask J.J. Abrams some fucking questions.
That sounds fun.
We're just gonna ask him some
We'll
questions.
just walk up to LA and be like, "Yo, JJ, can we interview you?"
I guarantee you, his answer to most of the questions will be, "I didn't think about that."
Yeah. And I guess
They paid
that's
me money.
So to sum it all up, that's kind of just the whole lesson of this trilogy: have a plan, stick to a plan, don't be Holdo. That's the lesson. Don't be Holdo.
Don't be Holdo. Don't have a Holdo.
Plan. Yeah, don't be a Holdo. Have a plan. That's the
okay.
lesson.
Well,
and last thing I wanted to say is this whole trilogy, I'm kind of disappointed because at the end of the day, no matter how good this trilogy could have been, I just feel like the fact that it's such a rehash and it's kind of just
The old one.
Yeah, the old ones kind of limits it. Like, no matter how good these movies hypothetically could have been, some of them are good, some of them have good moments, but that still does not get past the fact that they're just the old ones, but quote unquote better. So at the end of the day,
not.
Yeah, they're not better.
I'm
I'm being sarcastic, obviously. But at the end of the day, you can have your homages, but at least try to be new. And don't be a holdo. I think that's it. Honestly, I think I'm gonna make I have to make my own, like, a whole in-depth review on this Rise of Skywalker movie at some point, because, whew. And that's it. Yeah. Any last words from you, man?
Have a plan. See you guys in the next one.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I guess that's it.